The beautiful countryside of Sonoma, California is the setting for Fox Sports' last Winston Cup race of the season. Today is America's Best, if that's what you want to call it, tackle the tricky road course here at Infineon Raceway.
You're looking at the Hollywood Hotel, where usually you'll find some famous former driver, maybe a famous former crew chief, and some other guy hosting the pre-race show.
But frankly, we're tired of them, so we've taken over for a while. Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Harvick, and he's Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Junior, have you figured out how to conquer this place yet?
Well, I'm still looking for that shortcut that I think Gordon and them guys are taking, but it's getting better. We're running a little bit better this weekend than we had here in the past, but just looking around here, I've been finding some interesting stuff. Super Hold hairspray. I wonder whose this is.
I think Hammond and Myers, they comb each other's hair.
Yeah, this is what you don't see off the camera.
Right. They got any makeup down there?
No, but I did find a hairbrush that was full of hair. It must be Hammond's.
It's a small brush.
Yeah.
You know, sure they use that for their head?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I know that this broadcast stuff isn't as hard as they make it out to be, because with all the stuff on these cue cards, you don't need to know a damn thing about NASCAR. You just use these cards and you can know anything in the past. So
it's all right.
These guys, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So
as Chris Myers would say, oh, we could because we care.
Yeah. Well, it's time for us to get ready to race. But first, we're going to round up the usual characters that host the pre-race show from the Hollywood Hotel. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just ready to go green.
Me too.
At least I'm just glad I don't have to say boogity, boogity, boogie.
I think you just said it.
Oh, yeah, I did. They got that on tape, too.
Dang it. Well.
Oh, well.
Hey, Artie, roll the opening.
Kevin and Dale Jr. and Amateur Hour is over. Welcome to the Winston Cup Series pre-race show here on Fox. I am Chris Myers in the hills of Sonoma, ready to go road racing. Thanks for being with us. On this note, Kevin Harvick, just wanted to pass along that you and I have won the same amount of Winston Cup races so far this season, and that would be 0. All right. We were just kidding with the guys, having a little fun, talking about today, and really the first 15 races of the season, and the points race. Interesting, even though Matt Kenseth has been steady, still a lot can happen.
I think a big surprise, one, Tony Stewart, 1st of June, was 20th in points. Secondly, his teammate Bobby Labonte, 7 top 3 finishes, 88 points out of second. It looks like Gibbs is turning around, and Stewart's coming back around, in a great place for him to kind of get back on track, especially here at Sonoma.
Well, Chris said it. Matt Kenseth has been steady. Last year, he won 5 races, more than any other driver, but he finished 8th in points. Right now, at this point in the season, 13 top 10 finishes, just 1 win. He's the points leader.
Well, I've been impressed with the pit stops this year. So many sub-14-second pit stops performed by people who fly in on race morning to do nothing more than jack a car or put gas in it.
But how about the changes made before the season with NASCAR making all the makes arrow equal? Look at the competition, the number of winners. Every make has won. Every make has a bud pole. Nobody's complaining, and we're halfway through. No rule changes.
Well, I'm thankful that Jerry Nadeau is on the mend because of a safer driver environment than we've ever known. And that Jeff Green and Brett Bodine were able to walk away from hard crashes into existing soft wall technology. There's newer stuff on the way and not a moment too soon.
No, and I think this, when Bill France speaks, folks, you better listen. When he said realignment 2004 was something they were going to do this year, I had no idea what he was talking about. But we've already seen the results of some of that. I'm a traditionalist. I love what we've done for 50 years, but you can't let that hold you back. A lot of more changes in the future. Hang in there, because you may like some of them and you may not.
well, you keep talking about the changes. Well, the good thing about the changes, they haven't affected the competition so far. We've seen some great finishes in Ryan Newman at Texas. And who's ever going to forget about Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch at Darlington? I mean, closest finish in history. I mean, it was an exciting finish.
That finish at Darlington, as extraordinary a finish you'd see in any sport. What stands out, too, race 6 at Bristol when the war with Iraq and the United States broke out. It was tough to concentrate on anything else, but the drivers did their job. The chants of USA from the fans. It was a stirring moment, a shining moment for NASCAR and its fans. Time for us to go road racing here in Sonoma. The guys got to get down to the pits. Thanks for being with us. Nice to get out in the sun a little bit. Yeah. Stick around. Later on, we'll hear from Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon as the pre-race show from Fox and Sonoma continues. Welcome back here on Fox and in Sonoma, California. All season long, drivers made only the left turns as they went around the oval courses. Today, you're going to see some lefts and rights, maybe even a few uppercuts as the drivers square off for 110 laps on this 2-mile road course. It is a sign of the times. After 33 years as the primary sponsor, Winston is losing its top billing and will be replaced by Nextel Communications with NASCAR. On Thursday, NASCAR announcing an agreement with America's most successful wireless company to next year rename the Winston Cup Series the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series.
And on behalf of NASCAR's drivers, teams, tracks, sponsors, and 75 million fans, it's an honor for me to welcome Nextel as a new title sponsor of our premium series, the NASCAR Nextel Cup, beginning with the 2004 season.
Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. there for the announcement, and with our guys, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, back in the Hollywood Hotel. Whoa, a little Freudian slip there.
Yeah,
I was thinking of
hang out with Harvick too long.
I was thinking of Harvick Jr. picking on us a little bit, but let's get a reaction to the sponsorship, and I think it's a good thing for NASCAR. They had premier sponsors lined up and decided with Nextel, and this is a favorable move.
Yeah, it really is, because it shows that the progress of our sport and why everybody wants to get involved with it. We're going to miss Winston. They've been very good to our sport, but hey, welcome aboard, Nextel. I think it's going to be a great relationship.
Well, I think the bigger thing is you look at our economy. You know, teams are struggling. Other series are struggling to keep sponsors involved. In a very short period of time, Winston announced they were going away, or they'd like to, and NASCAR jumps up and they run out and they find somebody overnight almost to take Winston's place for 10 years. It's a 10-year deal. It's not a 2 or 3 year deal. And I got to tell you, these things do work.
Well, he's already got one.
Yes, I've been on the bandwagon for a long time. Just in case anybody was interested, I've always had one of these.
We can hear you now. We never had trouble here. Hey, let's see who's dialed in on this particular track. And here's a look at the road course, Darrell. And Kevin Harvick was telling me earlier, in between insulting me, that there's really only 2 places you could really pass guys here.
Yeah, it's a very tight racetrack. And as you see where the red line here is, we're going up a hill right there down into turn 3. Now we're headed down where the yellow is. That's turn 4, coming down to turn 4. That short chute across there, you might have a shot at passing. But right down here coming into turn 11, that's where you can do all the passing. Get somebody off the track here at turn 10, come down to turn 11 and get under them and make the pass. That's the cleanest place to do it.
All right, crew chief, you got to tell them once again to be patient, right? Don't make a major mistake.
You got to keep the race car on the track here. You've got to make sure you don't overwork your brakes. And whatever you do, don't wheel hop and tear that transmission out, because if you do, our day's going to be done.
Wheel hop.
Yeah.
Wheel hop.
It might resemble
like a hop,
we were racing. I didn't know.
That's a dance for JW. It might resemble a car chase. A police car chase. Will keep an eye on the pole. The 01 car with a track record qualifying time. Road course specialist Boris said. And that had us wondering about other Borises in history. A short list. Boris Yeltsin. He was known for knocking Mikhail Gorbachev off the Kremlin, off the pole in the Kremlin race. But there was Boris Becker, the most famous in sports, followed by chess whiz Boris Spassky, and of course everyone's cartoon favorite Boris Badenov. Let's listen to what Said has to say. He's with our Dick Berger. And hey, Dick, by the way, going for the latest in hairstyle.
Well, hey, Boris Said just won his first ever Winston Cup pole, so I went to the local barber shop and I got myself a Boris Said do for this interview. How about it? What are you going to do today?
I mean, hopefully I'll just do a good job for the Army. I mean, what our women and men are doing over there overseas is amazing, so I feel honored to be able to support the Army, have it on the car. My first pole, you know, hopefully we'll be there at the end and get a good finish for everyone on the MB2 Motorsports team.
Talked to his crew chief, Ryan Pemberton, just moments ago. He's worked with this guy for 3 years, said he has never seen him more focused or more ready to win a race.
All right, thanks. I'm just stunned by the hair. I didn't know what to say. I hope that's not the centerfold in Speedway Illustrated, because it actually is a good look. All right, the term ringers used for road course specialists who drive Winston Cup cars in this race, and Boris said that we should keep an eye on Ron Fellows, who shares the second row with Matt Kenseth. How do you feel, DW, about the specialists coming in for this kind of race? When to be a points champion, you have to run well here, obviously.
They're kind of shifty looking, if you ask me.
That was Dick Berger you're talking about.
Well, yeah, him and Boris both. No, it's okay. Oh, you know what I'd like to see somebody do? They bring the driver in, put him in one of our cars. I'd like to see somebody out there that's really up for the challenge, build a car, and come and run with our guys.
But the one thing I'm seeing right now, Chris, is the fact that when these guys come in, they show exactly where we are as far as our drivers are concerned. If they can keep up with them, that's how much more progress we've made as far as I consider them the round guys. They've done a good job so far.
All right, Havoc and Rusty looking for their first win of this season, the race for the points championship. Kenseth has been on top for 12 straight races, leads by 185 points. Now, Matt and Dale Earnhardt Jr., they need to be on the lookout for Jeff Gordon. Gordon, of course, a three-time winner on this track, and he can make up a lot of ground with his typically strong showing, combined with the difficulty that Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have had on road courses. And here, Kenseth's best finish here, 21st, and Junior's 19th. Back to Kenseth, the mild-mannered points leader. He's become the poster boy for consistency, and it seems he's always been driven for success.
Our point leader, Matt Kenseth. Come on, Matt, come on. Matt's looking for more.
I'm not sure where we were going there. I thought.
Middle of 3 and 4. Watch him go through the corner. I mean, he is really sailing around there right now.
Matt Kenseth in that 17 car, two-time world champions, and they're still responding on pit road, but they are doing what they need to do for this championship battle right now.
Boy, that 17 car is coming, baby.
And Chris, as you said, Matt Kenseth's best finish here is 21st, but you guys came out and tested 2 cars, but you brought back a brand new one.
Yeah, Robbie and them guys weren't exactly happy with the car we had. I guess they built a new one, and turned out real good for us on Friday. Unfortunately, I was only one lap. Today we got to run 110 of them, so just do the best job I can not to make any mistakes, and hopefully we'll have a good day in the pits and keep some decent track position.
All right, best of luck, Matt. And Chris Myers, he has his best starting position here in 3 races, 4th.
All right, thanks, Steve Burns. And Jeff, you spoke with his crew chief, Robbie Reiser.
Well, what they're talking about right now, they're looking big picture right now, DW. He says they're going to ride for a little bit, be around at the end, and for Matt to keep that race car on the blacktop.
It's just something about guys that drive that 17 car. I don't know. It's always been that kind
they call that's points racing. By the way, who stepped on the grapes here? We ordered that.
Wait a minute, guys. Are you sure those were grapes?
All right, well, I'm not drinking that. All right, we'll be right back. We're getting closer to the start of the Dodge Save Mart 350. You're watching it on Fox. We're live here in Sonoma. We'll be right back. Welcome back on Fox, and our congratulations to Sterling Marlin's crew winning $20,000 in the McDonald's drive-through pit championship fueled by Powerade for spending the least amount of time on pit road last week in Michigan. But overall, Michael Waltrip still in first place, and a $200,000 prize, season-long prize, waiting at the end for the winning team. As Jeff Hammond points out, you can buy a lot of Happy Meals with that.
Yep.
And, you know, you talked about specialists earlier here at a road course. Here's a guy like Jeff Gordon. He can win here. He can win anywhere, but drives well particularly. He has the most road course victories of any active driver.
He does, and, of course, if you look at last 5 years, he's led the most laps here. So, obviously, he's always fast here. And he's won a lot here. So, I tell you, it'd be hard to bet against Jeff Gordon on a road course, and quite honestly, for the championship as well.
I think right there you're looking at 2 guys who love road course racing, Ricky Rudd as well as Jeff Gordon, and they've got the right kind of attitude. They come in here, they have fun at these places, and I think that fun kind of shows in their records.
I think they got little feet.
Ricky Rudd winning last year, and Jeff Gordon knows about it. 3 times here, we told you, he starts today from row 4, and he's from nearby Vallejo, California. It's like a hometown track for him. For more on Gordon, let's go down to Matt Yoakum.
And Chris, Sonoma begins a great stretch for Super G Jeff Gordon. Combined over the next 6 races, you've won 16 times, 38 points out of second. You have to like this time of the year for you to make your push.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good tracks coming up, this being one of them, but you know as well as I do, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It's what you're doing now, and we've got a great team, and you know I think that we're really starting to come into our own. We've had some great efforts out there, and I hope it continues.
What about win number 8 on the road courses today?
I would love it. This guy standing here next to me is going to be tough to beat among a whole bunch of other guys that are in front of us. So it's going to be pretty interesting today. I think it's going to be a great race. very competitive race, and one, I think that the least amount of mistakes is going to pay off.
And the only mistake we almost ran over a fan who ran out of the racetrack trying to get it out of. Jeff Gordon, he starts 8th. Chris?
Hey, as long as we don't get a caution already, just a little debris out there. Hey, Gordon could make up with Watkins Glen coming up a couple hundred points on the leader, Matt Kenseth, if Kenseth doesn't hang in there.
Yeah, well, right now, if you look at the records, it leans toward a guy like Jeff Gordon, but don't rule a guy out like Matt Kenseth, because it seems like he's in championship form and he's been rising to the occasion so far. But if there isn't time for Jeff Gordon to kind of step out and say, I want that championship, good opportunity.
Is it tough for a driver like Kenseth? He's always thinking, hey, I got to win, but there's that bigger picture.
No, I think I like what they're saying, to be consistent and finish. But the other guy, he keeps skipping over Dale Jr. And let me tell you, don't ever forget, there's an Earnhardt in the championship hunt, and this young man hadn't won one yet, and he's got to win 7. And he needs to get started.
Yep, and the Daytona race coming up. And the battle to be our top handicapper. If Larry McReynolds, his pick, if he starts today's race, then Larry will clinch the Handicapper of the Year award. And that leaves Larry speechless, so we had to settle for the next best thing.
The biggest thing about winning a championship is consistency. And I'll make no bones about it. Consistency is what won me this here championship. You know, a lot of teams down here in the Winston Cup Garage use research and development, or R&D as we like to call it, to make themselves better. And basically, what I'm saying is that if you do your homework, you'll get some information that other folks just won't get. Daryl and Jeff, I'm looking in your direction. Now, I'm not gloating or nothing, but I am proud of this here championship. Larry, we love you. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you next year on Fox.
Hammond, I know you're behind it. I know you're behind the whole program.
Hey, I wish I could have taken credit for that one, but, I will anyway.
Yeah, Mike, who works
I think he actually does me better than I do me.
Well, he usually does Mike, who works with Tony Stewart, usually does the roof flaps thing, right, Larry? He always does that. All right, let's go over your picks, Larry. Why your particular choice as we run through? Let me list who the guys. You're all going for the road course guys, which would obviously make sense. And Larry, let's start with you. You're going with Boris Said.
Well, I think the word is focus. You heard Dick Bergman say Ryan Pemberton said he is focused. They built a brand-new race car. They've tested. And I think Boris wants to win this race for Boris and for Jerry Nadeau. Hurry back, Jerry. Get well, buddy.
All right, DW, you went with Robbie Gordon, who's had a good year across the board.
Robbie could have won this race 2 years ago and got beaten by Tony Stewart. He could have won Watkins Glen. He had a problem there. But listen, he's the guy that's in the most – that team stays – that's the same team he drives for every week. And I like that. He doesn't have a different driver working with a different crew. I like the harmony. Harmony.
Okay.
Yeah, but the guy right now, Ron Fellows, you think about it like this here, DW, he's done it all, and he wants to put one of these NASCAR Winston Cup races in his resume. He's in the car today to do it.
All right, as we get ready to crack it up, DW heads to the broadcast booth. Jeff and I will not only be here in the Hollywood Hotel, we're going to roam around this road course, try to get you a little bit closer to the action. Our last pre-race show of the season on Fox. We're going to miss sharing the races with you and hope you enjoyed the ride. As we await the start, we'll see if Boris Said can win his first Winston Cup race, or Matt Kenseth will create a little more distance in the points race. Either way, it's all coming your way on Fox.
NASCAR on Fox welcomes you to the Sonoma Valley, about a half-hour's ride north of San Francisco, where some of America's best wines hail from, and where the vintage of the moment is new. New is in the cars, new is in some of the drivers that will compete here today in this Winston Cup race at Infineon Raceway. And it's a beautiful day and a great day to go racing on this 10-turn, 2-mile road course. And this place is going to be packed. All 70,000 seats will be filled, as will the hillsides, infield, and camper area, to see America's best duke it out in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Time to go trackside for today's opening ceremonies.
Ready for our invitation. Please make welcome from Raceway Ministries, Miss Tina Coleman.
Please pray with me. Father, we come before you. We thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for the drivers and their crews, for the Infineon staff and volunteers who have worked so hard, and for the devoted fans. We ask for your protection and guidance for all those involved, that this may be a safe and fun event as we enjoy the excitement that is racing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
From the San Francisco Opera, Mr. Diego Garcia.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
To play our national anthem, please make welcome guitarist Joe Satriani. Ladies and gentlemen, a second flyover. Come on, guys.
Tom Arnold from Best Damn Sports Show, the Grand Marshal. And, you know, last year, the night before the race, workers here spent all night reconfiguring this place from Sears Point to Infineon Raceway. Tom thinks last night that workers throughout the county spent all night changing the road out here to Arnold Drive, which it has been for many years. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sonoma, California. We've had a wonderful weekend out here. It's perfect weather to go racing, and what a challenge for our final Winston Cup race on Fox for the season. I'm Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip, the all-time road course pole winner in NASCAR. And, Darrell, it's significant that nearly half of all road course races in NASCAR's history have been won from the front row.
Yeah, it is, and that just tells you how critical track position is. But the other thing is, folks, think about these guys. The majority of them, they're used to locking it in high gear and turning left, and that's all you do, Today, you got to be multitasking. You got to be able to shift. You got to be able to brake. You got to be able to turn right. Got to be able to do a little left. So today, it's a really hard job, physically and mentally, for all these guys.
Larry, it's not keeping it between the fences here. It's keeping it on the road.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I used to always say, when you come to a road course, yeah, you got to do all the things you do everywhere else. The engine has to perform. Everything has to stay intact. You have to have good pit strategy. But the biggest thing is staying on the course. And if you can do that, and this is what Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. need to do, you can come out of here with a good top 10 or 12 finish.
A big fireworks display. There's going to be more on the track here in just a moment. Joe Satriani screaming guitar with the national anthem. A great flyover, and we're set to bring you a great race here in status symbol land. On the first of two pace laps here at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. America's best Winston Cup stock car drivers and some of America's best road racers in the field today, and it is perfect weather. Those wispy clouds are the first we've seen all weekend, Larry.
But I'm going to tell you, look at this track temperature right here, 120 degrees. It's hard to get these cars to hook up to this asphalt, especially off the corner when the track's cool. These things will really slide around as they get laps on their tires.
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Boris Said, second-generation driver in his 8th Winston Cup start, gets his first career pole and a new track record. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has doled out more than $8 million as title sponsor of the Pole Award program. There's Boris right behind the Dodge pace car with a get well Jerry Nadeau inside his U.S. Army Pontiac. There's Boris with Robbie Gordon, a former road course ringer, now Winston Cup regular. Ron Fellows, fresh from Le Mans, and Matt Kenseth, best qualifying effort for the point leader on a road course. Kurt Busch coming off that strong win, and Kevin Harvick gets his best start ever here. Rusty Wallace, a two-time winner here. Jeff Gordon, 3 road course victories here in Sonoma. Ricky Rudd, the defending champion of the race. Tony Stewart, who won it 2 years ago. They're all in the top 10 as we have a look back through the field. And you'll find some of those ringers like Scott Pruitt outside of row number 18 in a one-off drive for the Chip Ganassi team. And looking back at 36th outside of row 18, that's Johnny Miller. He's the Trans Am point leader driving for Morgan McClure Racing, who released Mike Skinner during this past week. You'd have to count Christian Fittipaldi as a ringer, even though he's now the regular driver of the Petty 43, and Hideo Fukuyama for Travis Carter is there in 43rd. Winston West drivers Jim Englebright and Brandon Ash missed the field. P.J. Jones didn't make it in A.J. Foyt's car, nor did Paul Menard.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Robbie Gordon here. Hey, Robbie Gordon, that's the DW in the Fox TV tower, bud. You got a copy up there?
Got a copy, Dale. How are you?
Very good, young man. You almost won this thing a couple of years ago. You almost won Watkins Glen. What's it going to be to do? What you got to do today to win this one, bud?
I think the whole deal comes down to not making any mistakes on the racetrack and not making any mistakes in pit lane. We know what strategy we're going to use, very similar to what we used yesterday, and I think we'll be on pace.
10-4, bud. I think you got what it takes. I like that steering wheel you got there. That's unique.
Kind of nice. I actually use this one quite a lot, even in the oval races.
All right, bud. Well, good luck from all us up here, and have a great day.
All right, thanks a lot, Dale.
Robbie Gordon will start from the outside pole. This year's winners of the Visa Ultimate NASCAR Experience, the Lawson family, Perry, Joan, and Kevin from Alamogordo, New Mexico. They used their Visa card at a Red Lobster and won the luxury weekend, including round-trip airfare and a pace car ride with Rusty Wallace. Congrats to the Lawson family. Let's have a look at Infineon Raceway. This is a 10-turn road course as we're going to take a ride up, down, and around
Yeah, where the red is elevation changes going uphill here. Then you come around turn 3, head down this turns yellow. We're going to go down into turn 4. Right here, this little short chute, that's the Budweiser bottleneck. Come out of there. Sometime you'll go to first gear right there. Come down through the S's, around turn 10, treacherous turn 10. You run off into a rock sometime. Best place to pass, right here. Down in turn 11. Set them up, get them right there.
We're going to go green this time after 2 pace laps. You see them coming down this chute into the paperclip of turn 11.
But we're going to pay close attention to this pit window right here because it's a fairly short race. Darrell, you talked about it earlier. Short pitting, being on pit road, and hopefully a caution comes out after you pit. It's a 2-stop race.
Got to use a different strategy here than you do anywhere else, Larry.
Well, boys, last time on Fox this season. Here we go.
DW, last time I get to tell you, buddy, 13 corners, pull them belts tight.
Let's go racing, boys. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Gear shift them things.
13 shifts a lap. Talk about things going wrong. That's when you really get in trouble.
Robbie Gordon wants the lead, but Borisset has the line coming up to the top of the hill.
Boy, he did. He shot up there and jumped right out in front of Robbie.
Kenseth going for third.
Kenseth's got the position. He ought to be able to make hold his position right there. There he goes.
That's Ron Fellows in the Pennzoil car in fourth. Here comes Harvick to the inside. A bold move at turn 4.
Oh, my goodness. Look how close they get into that wall off of 4 right there. I think Ron's really working hard just trying to get in line. He's probably not accustomed. He's used to 24 hours of racing. Take him a little. Not used to this kind of pace early on.
There's the bottleneck you were talking about, DW, back up there in turn 7.
Oh, yeah, you can get in big trouble right there. You got to get single file here pretty quick to get down through these S's.
Robbie Gordon is all over Borisset.
And Matt Kenseth, he would love to get up there and get those 5 points for leading lap early. Get that out of the way.
Down to second and maybe first gear. Gordon looking inside. They touch.
One thing about Robbie Gordon, he will take no prisoners. I'm telling you right now, he will not mess around with Borisset.
You cannot open the door, though, getting into turn 11 on the bottom. You got to hug the bottom. Borisset, he'll lead that first lap.
Said is the defending SCCA Trans Am champion. He would love to be full-time in Winston Cup, so this for him is an audition opportunity today.
Pretty much for the most part, looks like everybody's kind of content just running single file, let a few laps wind down.
Kyle Petty in the charity ride paint scheme takes a spot from Kenny Wallace.
Boyce is under, Robbie got by Boyce down in turn 2, or turn, the bottleneck down there. I'll get it right here in a second. I saw him get under him down there.
I'm going to tell you what, though, I'm impressed by this early run by Matt Kenseth. For a guy in 6 road course starts, have an average finish of better than 25th. He's looking like a road racer today in that 17 car.
I agree with you, Larry, but I think the guy that we talked to in the opening there, Robbie Gordon, I think he's a man on a mission today. He's confident. That car is really, really good. He's had a couple of these things. He's had a one, and he's lost them late in the day, so I think he's really going to be a guy that's going to give it all he's got.
Hot Rod Harvick makes the move inside for third.
He's been looking good all week. Good qualifying one. Won the Southwest Tour race here yesterday. He's been looking good through every practice.
Yeah, he's been real consistent, and he's been consistently fast, too.
It's coming out of turn 4, headed down toward turn 7. Robbie just looks like he gets the position, takes the inside from Borisset, and takes the lead.
Yep. That's a good passing opportunity if the guy in front of you messes up a little bit.
Turn 4. And let's go to Dick Bergeron.
Well, you're talking about Matt Kenseth maybe not being the best of the road racers, or at least that is his reputation. He has heard those comments, and as a result, he has put an enormous amount of effort into improving his road racing skills. Indeed, for the last 3 years in a row, Kenseth has come here to Infineon and tested. Very few drivers do that. This time, 2 cars, 2 days. They just absolutely wrung it out. He's ready to win a road race, Mike.
And Dick, just to put a period on that, they were not that happy with that test with a brand new car, so they built another brand new car, this car, after the test.
lot of different combinations, as you know, Larry, that you can run there. You can run a standard car, a Hopkins or a Laughlin, or you can run a drop snout car. A lot of guys do that on the road course. So probably just trying to find the feel that Kenseth's like went home, built him a car that they learned from the test that he needed.
2 cars on the move. One was Ryan Newman. You saw him take a position from Ricky Rudd at turn 11. That was 10th place. The other is Kyle Petty, who has come from 35th to 28th in just 2 laps.
Yeah, Ryan Newman, he started back in 13th, of course, finished in the top 10 in both road course races last year.
10th place, and Dale Jr. there challenging as well. Now Harvick has moved to second and trying the inside. Kenseth. Oh, that is such a tight corner.
It is.
7.
It's hard to make it stick right there because you got to have a little room to swing into that turn. You go in there straight like Kenseth was, you can't make it.
And you see Ron Fellows in the 1 car. He lost the position to Kurt Busch. Couldn't handle it on the outside. It just don't stick on the outside. You have to be on the bottom.
I got a feeling if I'm Kenseth, I went home and built me a car like Kurt Busch's because that car is really fast, and he's been good all weekend too.
And remember, Fellows is an endurance racer. He's a long-distance runner, and he knows leading doesn't pay anything. Good chance he'll be there, though, when it's over.
And we talked about it in the beginning. We talked about it all weekend long as strategy. What you want to do is race your race for the first 2/3 of this race. Try to have a good pit stop, make the right adjustments at the end, and then go racing.
Riding with Bill Elliott, Kenseth and Busch and Fellows, the Canadian. Drivers in this race from Canada, Brazil, and Japan.
And don't look too far behind you there, Ron, because here comes a guy that I know is a really good road racer and knows how to win here. That's Rusty Wallace. And there's another cat that's really, really hungry for a win. Or thirsty. He might be thirsty for one. I love that.
Get out of the leader's pit, and Matt.
Mike, one factor that the 31 team is concerned about today is Robbie Gordon's health. He has a case of food poisoning, was sick most of the morning, but they administered a number of water and other products to try to get his strength back. They don't feel like that's going to be a problem today, even though it's the warmest day of the weekend. And Darrell, this is not an oval, this is a road course where you're moving constantly. So does that provide more of a hindrance, or does it maybe take your mind off of things?
Right now, when you're out front leading like he is, you feel really, really good, no matter what's wrong with you. But that's going to have some effect on him. Watch him shift. He grabs that shifter, gets both hands back up on the wheel. I like that little steering wheel he's got. It's kind of flat. It's got a little different look to it. It's almost an IndyCar look. See him here, he's on his brakes, off the brake, trying to get back to the throttle, playing with the throttle. Coming down the hill, wide open right there. Shift, brake. Up on the curb, missed into that wall.
Now, folks, that looks like concrete, but it's a big styrofoam block there. So
he's going to first gear there, Larry. Just put the thing in first, second, third. Now he'll get all the way into 4th gear here through these S's.
But the further you get in the run, the more you have to play with that old throttle right there.
Robbie Gordon has led in 7 of his 10 Winston Cup road course starts. He's the leader here in Sonoma. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. By Pizza Hut. The DVD's on us when you buy a large pizza. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and NHRA, and by XM Satellite Radio, 100 channels, including the only 24-hour NASCAR channel. Robbie Gordon completes 8 laps at Infineon Raceway and opens up his lead over Kevin Harvick to a 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick, his teammate. So obviously the Childress guys have got their act together this weekend, Larry.
And Kevin was starting to reel Robbie in just a little bit, but then the last couple of laps, he's lost a bunch of ground. And actually that last lap, I almost feel like he really missed the mark on the corner because he lost a lot of ground.
When I think back to the last couple of years with Robbie Gordon and how he almost won this race a couple of years ago, and in the same way at Watkins Glen, his car always was good on the long run. Seemed like he really was good and consistent over the long haul.
Looking from Boris Said, the pole sitter, back at Ron Fellows, two of the road racing ringers, we call them.
And you talked about Ron Fellows being an endurance racer. What I'm seeing with him on into this run, his car is getting stronger. Now he has gained a couple of positions.
Bobby Labonte has spun. Cars split him on either side. That's out of turn 7.
And Bobby was running back in the 17th position.
What happens there, there'll be what they call a local yellow.
And Fellows dips inside Boris Said. Puts his Chevy in front of Said's Pontiac. That's 3rd and 4th.
And I think that start was made. I know that Ron's been in a lot of big races with a lot of cars, but I don't know if he was ready for a start of the Winston Cup race here the way these guys attacked from the get-go.
Let's see what happened to Bobby Labonte at turn 7.
He gets down under Bill Elliott right here, and I think what happens is he tries to stay off of Bill, and he gets it locked up and spins it around. You know, right there's when you'd say, oh, Bill, you should have, why didn't you let me go? You know, I had the position on you, and I could have really knocked you out in the dirt.
And here's Ron Fellows coming off turn 10.
Turn 10,
down into 11.
Boys had to get out of the gas a little bit, stay on course, and Ron was sitting there right in position to jump all over him.
And we talked about making mistakes and not getting off the racetrack, not spinning. That took Bobby Labonte in 18 from 17th back to 30th.
Jeff Gordon on the move. He's just gone past Rusty Wallace, and that changes 7th place. Steve?
Mike, interesting pit selection for Jeff Gordon and his crew chief Robbie Loomis. They qualified 8th, but they're in pit box 43. They're the first pit box on the entrance to pit road, which means they're also only about 35 feet from where NASCAR starts timing the pit road speed. Crew chief Robbie Loomis says we only have to slow down once. It's a big, wide pit road, and we also may gamble a little bit on fuel strategy.
But, Steve, I think that's a great selection. There's only really 2 or 3 good selections on this pit road. These pit boxes are very small. As you get the very end pit leaving or right up there to an opening, the best pit selection is where they pick. They get their work done, and all he has to worry about is not getting hit on pit road and watch his pit road speed.
Well, Larry, all these pits down here in front of us right now, 1 through looks like about 22, is on the other side of the old media building. And so you're coming on pit road. When you get to the old media building, you can't see your pit until you come around that turn. So I think that may have had something to do with him picking way back on the other end.
You saw Kurt Busch kick up a little dust, and you'll see that a lot here today as he tries to race down Boris Said. That's 4th and 5th place. And there's Kenseth now being pursued by Gordon. That is for 6th place. And that is 1 and 3 in our Winston Cup top 10.
I'm going to tell you what, though, Kurt Busch, he got in trouble right before practice ended that day before qualifying. They had to completely rework that car. It looks like a golf ball down the left side. Like Jimmy Finney told me, anywhere but a road course, they would replace the side. Went out there and qualified 5th. He was fastest in practice yesterday, and he's backing it up here again on race day.
Jeff Gordon made the move on Matt Kenseth, and Jeff will move up to 6th.
Yeah, I think Busch's car was definitely Rubbermaid the other day, because it bounced off the fence.
It looked like a bag of walnuts. Actually, Darrell, he bounced off the tire wall. And the soft barrier kept them from having to go to a backup car.
Just did a little sheet metal damage.
Rusty right there, Tony Stewart, who won this race 2 years ago. And don't forget, this is our final Winston Cup race on Fox, but next Sunday, the NASCAR Busch Series is on FX. From Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Mile, and Elliott Sadler is off climbing the hill at turn 2. Oh, that can't help.
That wasn't very good. That doesn't look very good. That thing, you don't use that for a snow plow.
Yeah, I mean, it's killing that front clearance, the bottom of that front bumper.
Right there. Got the 43 and 7 behind you.
And he came around in 21st position.
Nice and smooth.
So we'll give you an idea how much ground he lost. He's about going to go all the way to the rear of the field.
Had a top 10 finish here last year for the Wood Brothers.
Finished 6, yeah.
This is turn 10, looking down the chute to turn 11. That U-turn looks like Martinsville. There's turn 11.
That's about the slowest part of the racetrack and where these guys use the most brakes.
And the lowest gear. A lot of guys will go to first gear right here to accelerate out of that corner because you are lugging when you come around that turn.
You saw Scott Pruitt in that turn pick up a spot on Ricky Rudd. Pruitt moves up to 13th, and Rudd has been backpedaling since the start of this race. He falls to 14th. Let's ride along with Dale Jr. a bit here. Well,
turn number 3.
Okay, Kurt Busch was making the move on Boris said.
But Boris said, no, not yet.
Yeah, Boris said, get off my bumper.
On your right, just looking. Clear.
Isn't it funny how the spotters can sound so calm? Of course, they're not in those cars. It's not calm in those cars.
I don't know, but if Mr. Said cuts in front of Mr. Bush like that many more times, Mr. Said will be in the bushes.
Feather that throttle. They will repave this track this August. And it's been an elusive search for grit all weekend long for these Vista Cup drivers. Robbie Gordon, our leader. Robbie Gordon picked up 0.8 of a second that lap on his Childress Racing teammate Kevin Harvick. 2.4 seconds. The margin. Ron Fellows third, Boris Said, and Kurt Busch, 3 Chevys, a Pontiac, and a Ford in the top 5. More than 1 million people went to NASCAR.com and FoxSports.com to vote. And we have a winner in the NASCAR Grand Marshal for a day contest. Now don't pay attention to all that funny stuff we said all season. Here is what the winner gets. He'll be the Grand Marshal for the Subway 400 at Rockingham, riding the pace car. Say, gentlemen, start your engines, and wave the checkered flag at the finish. John Cyrus of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. We'll see you in Rockingham, and thanks to all of you who entered the Via Grand Marshal for a day contest at FoxSports.com and NASCAR.com.
See the battle for 5th right there. Kurt Busch in the 97 car, Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. He has made up a lot of ground on Kurt. Catching him one thing, passing is going to be another.
Yeah, pretty difficult to do since you only got, like we said, a couple of passing opportunities. The rest of the time it's pretty much just follow the guy and hope he makes a mistake.
The last 5 years here, Jeff Gordon has led the most laps, every one of the last 5 years. Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in here without a great credential at Sears Point. Well, he had his NASCAR hard card, but between he and Matt Kenseth together, they only had 1 finish in the top 20. However, Jr. having a good run here, running in 9th, trying to hang on to Rusty Wallace.
I think it just shows how good the teams are, Mike. You know, Dale Jr. and Matt both came in here knowing that they had to perform well here, and they've risen to that occasion. And that's what you do if you want to be champion.
16 laps complete in the Dodge Save Mart 350 at Infineon Raceway.
I'm going to tell you what, that 99 car here, Jeff Burton, I've been watching him here. Started back in 16th. We talked about Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth. Of course, another Roush car. He's been just patiently moving up here as this race goes on. When you're running with Tony Stewart on a road course, you're doing pretty good. And in that 4th Ganassi car, Scott Pruitt in the 09 car, he's up to 13th position. And he'll actually be using the 41 Casey Mears pit crew. They're going to pit both cars under green, but if we should have a yellow where both cars are on pit road, the 41 car will pit Scott Pruitt, that team, and then they have the ARCA team of Casey Mears that will pit Casey Mears.
Pruitt having a look inside Ryan Newman, who gives him plenty of room at turn 11. I like that, Darrell, because Newman took a line that really didn't cost him a lot of time, and yet he didn't fight Pruitt for the corner. They both came out okay. Continue on.
Listen, it's so easy to make a mistake here, Mike, and particularly if you got somebody on your back bumper hounding you. You're a lot better off to get that guy off your bumper. Move out, give him room, let him go by. Then you can follow him.
Now here's the defending champion of this race, Ricky Rudd. He's a 2-time winner here, but he has been fading since the start of the race in the Wood Brothers Ford. Matt, what's the problem?
The team is going to have some work to do if he's going to try for number 3, Mike. He reported into the crew that the shifter broke. Now, what they're not sure is if the ball broke or if the shifter broke more down in this area. If it's the ball, they can give him another ball to send through. But at this juncture, they're not exactly sure what part broke. So, Larry Mack, that's what they're trying to wait for Ricky to dissect more on the team's radio.
Well, I tell you what I see, Matt, when I look at that shifter. Look at right there. What these teams are doing, they're so conscientious about weight. They start lightening things up. And there's one thing you don't want to take weight from is the shifter at a road course shifting 13 times a lap.
Yeah, I don't want to come to the road course with something tricked.
Especially a good, solid shifter.
Especially my shifter. Because I'm going to be using that how many times?
13 times a lap times 110 laps.
So I'd like to have the best shifter that we have in the house.
Needs to be pretty durable.
Yeah.
And that may not be what has happened there, but something I never would do is lighten up that shifter or anything about that shifter.
Robbie Gordon now 2.8 seconds up on Kevin Harvick. 6 seconds back is Ron Fellows.
That's one of those things, Larry, that just you beat yourself. And that's the worst feeling in the world. Have a good car, good road race driver like Ricky Rudd, and you beat yourself.
This is definitely the place they probably could get that first win if everything worked right.
Nice and smooth. Don't overdrive it. Nice and smooth. Easy. Nice and smooth. Don't cut a tire down. Nice and smooth. Running the leader down big time, so smooth it out. No sense catching them in a hurry.
Trying to tell Boris said nice and smooth is like trying to tell Lennox Lewis, don't hit him too hard.
But I tell you, he's been right on his mark, and that was his spotter, Roman Pemberton, who is Ryan Pemberton's brother, the crew chief.
And I think that's where the road racing experts really excel, is over the long haul. As the grip goes away and as the track gets slicker and slicker, they have the finesse and expertise to be able to deal with that better than a round track racer would.
And you know, on our trackside show Friday night, we had Ron Fellows on there, and we asked him, critique a Winston Cup road course driver. He says they're guilty of over-driving their race car.
This is the Winston Cup road race equivalent of Darlington. Race the racetrack.
By all means.
Dick Berger.
Kevin Happy Harvick started this race in the 6th spot, Mike, and he charged early. Got himself up to 2nd position, right on the back bumper of that 31 of Robbie Gordon. From there, he has sort of slid back a little bit. Not to worry, the car is fine. He has been told by crew chief Todd Berrier, don't slip the tires. On another occasion, don't slide the tires. On another occasion, you're doing all right. You're one of the fastest. And on lap 17, you're halfway through your run. They'll pit on lap 34.
And I know Richard Childress has to be so proud to see those cars running up the front because of all the years Dale Earnhardt won all those races, 76 wins. They only got one road course win with him here in 1995.
I think it's kind of interesting that Childress's cars, Harvick and Robbie, are running as well as they are. When we think about how they've run at other racetracks, particularly lately, Pocono comes to mind, Michigan too. They're running up front today. You take the 17 car, who traditionally doesn't qualify all that well. He's usually qualifying back, averaging about a 24th place start, I think. Today he started up in the top 4. So the road course offers you opportunities that no other racetrack does.
And what this man has been best at in this season so far is not making any mistakes. That's what's given Matt Kenseth a healthy point lead as we approach the midpoint of the season. 20 laps complete. Robbie Gordon now 3.5 seconds up on Kevin Harvick, Ron Fellows, Boris Said, and Kurt Busch.
Fox welcomes you back to Sonoma, California. We've gone 22 laps, and Robbie Gordon, your leader, is crew chief Kevin Hamlin, celebrating his 44th birthday, married to Patty Miles in Napa on Thursday, so a big week for them. This is a Visa Race Break with Jeff Hammond. Chris Myers from the Hollywood Hotel, and because this is the first of 2 road courses, let's show some of the passing zones, Jeff. Try to give the viewer a breakdown of this winding track, and we'll start with turn 4 where Kevin Harvick passes Boris Said.
You come up the hill right there and you see they come at the little tight left-hander right there, or right-hander. See Kevin go underneath Boris Said right there, and then we come across there and to turn 7, and this is where Robbie Gordon took the lead of the race away from Boris Said right there coming out of 7.
And then Ron Fellows, this is in turn 11, and you say this is 10 turns, 11 turns, but Fellows passes Boris here.
Yeah, this area is one of the favorite places on the racetrack. If you want to make a pass, you set a guy up, come in there, out-break him just like Ron did, and get under him, keep it tight right there on the inside, and make a move.
And the spotters are very important because there are some blind spots for some of the drivers. They were telling me about that before the race here.
And when you come up the hill, as far as turn 1 is concerned, it's a blind spot there. When you turn back across and go to turn 3, it also has a problem. And I believe the 74 car, Tony Raines, right there, has a flat right rear.
Yep, and Tony Raines is in trouble with that flat tire. And let's take another look at what happened earlier with Tony Raines in the 74 car.
As you can see, right, he locked it up right there. He kind of slid it off the course right there, and probably that's where he knocked it either off the rim or cut it down when he got off the race course.
And we had not had a caution up to that point. Bobby Labonte earlier had a little spin that he kind of brought himself back in and got there without the caution coming out.
Yeah, as you saw right there, you did see a yellow flag, though. That was a local yellow. The car spun off, but he was out of the way. So, again, not a full course yellow.
And we have still not had a full course yellow caution. Robbie Gordon, your leader. This has been a Visa race break. Let's go back upstairs.
Tony Raines makes it back to pit road without further incident. And Chris, the reason we have turns 11 and 12, there's a short chute that connects turns 4 and 7. We don't use turns 5 and 6 for the NASCAR course here. But Robbie Gordon's lead now 2.6 seconds. It's stabilized. There's Kevin Harvick, the second place car. And Ron Fellows, though, is gaining on both of them.
Yeah, Fellows is, but just to pick up a little bit on the caution flag situation, it takes a pretty serious incident here to get a full course yellow. It got to be some car in the way, something really causing a hazard before they'll throw it. A full course yellow. You get those little local yellows, you just can't pass in that area. Once you get through there, have at it.
And then one thing that really hurts you when you have a flat tire here is, unlike at a super speedway like at Michigan last week or Daytona in a couple of weeks, they don't run the inner shield, the inner tire. So it's just tire and rim, and when it goes down, you're pretty much on the rim.
Well, I think it was Boris Sid's spotter a minute ago. We heard him say, stay on it. You know, don't cut a tire down. Don't run off the track and cut a tire down. That's what you do here. With low air pressure, you go across one of those curves, hit some of the dirt, knocks that tire right off the wheel.
You're watching from 8th place Dale Earnhardt Jr., the point standing runner-up. 9th place Scott Pruitt right behind him. The 3rd and 4th cars on your screen. Winston Cup regular against road course ringer in this one race ride, Pruitt. For more on Pruitt, Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mikey's doing a good job. Started 18th up into the top 10, as you mentioned, and he just radioed his crew and said, I can't see out my rearview mirror. And Darrell, the drivers are so busy here, I'm curious how big of a hindrance that's going to be to him if he can't see out that rearview mirror.
You know, Steve, what happens with the rearview mirror, even when there's no one behind you, you're accustomed to looking back and seeing where people are, obviously. Also, it tells you if your car might be smoking, or there might be something behind you that you need to be aware of, and you're constantly checking your mirror. When it's not there for you, it's an aggravation.
Boy, look at how Fellows is caught up. Kevin Harvick.
I mean, here late in this run, he definitely, by far, Darrell, has the fastest race car.
And the other thing about the rearview mirror, Larry, as you well know, somebody can catch you and all of a sudden sticks a nose under you. You don't know they're there, and you cut out on them, and off the track you go. So you got to have a rearview mirror.
Ron Fellows moves up into 2nd spot. Here's Matt.
Mike Bono Mannion and the Chance 2 team built this brand new Chevrolet for Ron Fellows. They tested here. He set quick time during the test. But when Steve Park was released, they decided to put Fellows in the Pennzoil Chevy. So Bono and the Chance 2 guys moved this car and all their notes up to the Pennzoil shop. Doing very well today. The problem, though, he's reporting in to Tony Gibson, the crew chief. He's having trouble getting the transmission in and out of 2nd gear. And Jeff Hammond, that's a problem you don't want to see having this early in the race.
What Matt Yoakum's talking about right now, folks, is that when you talk about shifting this transmission, as you can see, this right here is where this synchronizer deal goes on a Jericho straight cut transmission. When you go to shift gears, you want this to be able to go into gear really, really smoothly, just like so. If he's having problem making this shift for some reason, if it's not lining up, and you go to try to get it in gear, it's got what we call dog geared or rounded the wrong way, it will not go in very smoothly, and he has to be patient to let it drop in. Otherwise, he'll be missing the shift and possibly over-revving the engine. This type of problem normally doesn't cure itself. And the more you try to hustle the car, it usually will wind up being terminal before the day's over with, and you'll wind up being inside the garage area having to replace it.
And you heard Jeff talk about the straight cut gears and those synchronizer rings. What's good about having that type of transmission, Darrell, is most of these drivers, when they're going up through the gears, they don't even use the clutch. They shift the RPMs, but most drivers will use the clutch to downshift.
I'm just thinking if he's having that much trouble, which I don't think he's having that much trouble, but if he's having a problem, he went by Kevin Harvick pretty easy, and he's one of the quickest cars on the racetrack right now.
Problem for Dale Jarrett. This is turn 4.
Whoa, man. He just overcooked that turn big time. It's almost like something happened, Larry.
Let's go on board.
He's coming downhill here, and it's very deceiving. Oh, hear that? Bop, 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 bop. Wheel hop. I knew something had to happen.
And that's caused a lot from a lot of rear brake along with the downshift.
Now, you know what's going to happen to that car next?
It very well could break a pinion in the gear, or sling a dry shaft or something like that, break an axle, because that's hard on equipment back there.
Yes, sir. Always, every time that ever happened, I'd come in and...
Now here's a unique look at it. This is looking down at the rear end center section on Dale Jarrett's car.
Very, very soft rear springs in this car. That helps the thing get a lot of good forward bite with the rear wheels on acceleration. And for that reason, you see how much it's moving up and down, how much it's traveling. And the area we're talking about it's hard on is right in there. That's where the drive shaft hooks up to the pinion in the gear.
And Larry, it almost did it then. It had that little flutter in the rear end there as he got on the brakes. So that's caused, we always talk about the shock package. And that's why the shocks are so critical, because of all that movement that you get in the rear of the car.
Yeah, the shock never quits moving.
See that thing? Get that little flutter in it? That's wheel hopping. There's no way that'll last all day.
Pit stops coming up. Robbie Gordon leads Ron Fellows and Kevin Harvick in Sonoma. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. And by Old Spice. Spice things up. 30 laps complete at Infineon Raceway, and looking for the leader to perhaps pit next time by. Robbie Gordon has led all but the first lap.
I'm thinking I'm ready for a pit stop, Larry. I'm sliding around here, got my hands full right now.
I think a lot of these guys are, and they could go further than this, but what they're trying to do is get to pit road, and there you see them downshifting, coming on the pit road 35 miles per hour, but they're trying to get to pit road. Now they know they can make it on one more stop for fuel and tires.
We've been caution-free thus far. And there's a corner in the middle of pit road. Here you see it coming up, turn 12. Actually, pit road has that same turn in it. And here he comes. He's way down the end.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming on pit road and you're coming out through there, the driver almost has to tell the crew where he is because they can't see him.
But the last thing you want to do is make a mistake here, be caught speeding or make a mistake on the pit stop. Matt Yoakum.
And they're not going to make any adjustments, Larry Mack, on the 31 car of Robbie Gordon. Remember, Robbie felt like he let one get away here back in 2001 when he finished second. Kevin Hamlin's on top of the box. And he's out of the way. 14.7 seconds.
Now, the advantage of being where he's at right there is he left. He didn't have to worry about pit road speed.
All clear. A lot of room.
When you use first gear on the racetrack, it makes it very difficult leaving your pit box, because it's a really high gear and you have to really rev the engine. It's hard on the clutch getting out of the pits.
Ward Burton has made a pit stop. So has Christian Fittipaldi and Joe Nemechek. That'll hand the lead to Canadian Ron Fellows, who finished third in the 24 Hours of Le Mans just 1 week ago.
And just that car is so smooth. He just comes down through there. Here comes Harvick on pit road. Pit road speed really doesn't start until he gets way on around here, but you can only go so fast through there.
What's up, guys? Now, we want to stress that when you make a green flag stop here, is also Jimmy Johnson and the 48 cars on pit road. If you're near the front, you will not go a lap down. So what Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick would like right now, Dick Berggren, is for a caution to come out. That way they've made their pit stop.
Yeah, indeed. Right now, Harvick is in for his stop. New rear tire changer this weekend. Aaron Smith substituting for Clint Pittman, who is injured in a garage incident. Harvick says the car is just a little bit tight. He's going to get 4 tires, fuel. Nice stop. He's gone.
Larry, how different is it for these crews when they have to come around and you're going the wrong way on pit road? Actually, it's different.
Yes, it is. It's very different, and it's something you have to work on a lot at the shop, and teams will practice all week long just because the format's a little bit different because of the way you're coming on the pit road.
I just think it's safe to say, Mike, when we come to road courses, everything is different. That's profound, isn't it?
Well, the scenery's nice, and the weather has been a whole lot better here than what we've seen in our half of the season so far. Ron Fellows, our leader. Boris said second. Both road course specialists. Jeff Gordon, NASCAR's winningest active road course driver. And up to fifth now is this man, Scott Pruitt, the Roseville, California native, former go-kart racer. He's run endurance cars. He's run Le Mans. He's run Indy cars.
He's got a little damage on the left rear quarter panel over there when he went by last time I noticed it. Looked like he got the thing up against something pretty seriously.
Now, of course, he started back in 18th, and he's moved up several positions because of people like Kevin Harvick and Robbie Gordon. There you see that damage right there on the left rear, pitting. But he has still passed a lot of race cars on the racetrack.
Rusty Wallace in for his first stop of the day. One of NASCAR's top road racer. He and teammate Ryan Newman pitted right alongside him. Here's Tony Stewart, who won this race 2 years ago, pitted just in front of Wallace. Now, for the crews, this is a little different, because they are still going around to the right side of the car first. The pits are on the outside of the track here. At Watkins Glen, it would be different. The pits are on the opposite side. Matt?
And Tony Stewart's team, they've already made a wedge adjustment to his Chevrolet. He said the car cut good to the left, but it just didn't cut as well as he would have liked to the right. The forward bite, he said, was getting better.
Michael Waltrip in, Todd Bodine, Kyle Petty.
And you heard Tony struggling to get out of the pit. That's just that real high first gear. Normally you have a real low gear to spin the tires, but here it's pretty tough to do.
Next time, buddy, 4 tires.
And you hear him calling Ron Fellows in the one car next time. Something also you saw happen in Tony Stewart's pit was they were throwing the fuel can, empty fuel can. Steve Burns, they can't do that starting in Chicago.
And Larry Mack, Jeff Gordon is in, 4-tire stop. They're going to drop the air pressure in both rear tires 1 pound. Gordon said he was a little loose, 14.6 seconds. Sorry, 13.6.
Boris Said is in. He has the last pit on pit road. As we finish the pole sitter, he gets his first choice of pit position. Elliott Sadler goes out.
The reason Steve corrected that real quickly is because when he said that, all the crew members turned around and looked at him real fast. So you better get that right, buddy.
Jeff Gordon is in, along with Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, Sterling Marlin, Dave Blaney.
There you go. All clear, all clear. One outside. Jeff Gordon's outside.
Scott Pruitt's in, Bobby Labonte, Jamie McMurray, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Good job by the 01 team getting Boyce back out there right behind Jeff Gordon. Good stop.
Greg Biffle is in, Busch champion. And these cars just leaving the pits. Rusty was in a lap ago.
Yeah, you're on low air, and it makes it really difficult for a lap or so to get the thing going again.
There you see Ron Fellows in the Pennzoil car. This is a scheduled stop for everybody, and I'm sure it's going to be minor adjustments, 4 tires, and make sure they get that thing full of fuel. Matt Yoakum.
Larry Mack, they're looking back toward the end of pit road. They now see Ron Fellows. They are holding up the sign, waiting to service Fellows Chevrolet. He came on the radio and kind of something that Darrell said. He looked better at the end of the run. The points leader's in trouble.
Matt Kenseth lost a tire as he headed down toward turn 11.
I think he was coming to pit road, but something happened to his, looked like his left rear tire possibly.
But I'm going to tell you what, Dick Berggren, his luck continued. It happened right at the entrance of pit road.
Indeed, he knew that tire was going down. He had said so about 30 seconds ago, and they had planned to pit on this lap at any rate. So having it go down when it went down, really no huge problem. A very fortunate situation. The crew is ready to lift the left side of the car in case the jack won't go underneath it. And that left rear tire is absolutely shredded. Virtually no air underneath it at all. Jackman Russ Struck will have his work cut out for him to get the jack under the car. Let's see how he does. He got it. Struck got it under right away. Not a bad stop given what these guys have put up with. And Kenseth is gone.
Caution is out. And that's why that is the remains of the tire off Matt Kenseth's car.
Lucky break for the guys that have made their green flag stops. Unlucky break for guys that haven't.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot leading up to these pit stops.
It's exactly what we've been saying. Make your stop under green and hope for a caution. You picked a fine time to leave me. That's not the whole wheel there.
It's not the whole loose wheel.
That happened right there in turn 10, and that's just a few feet before coming on the pit road.
The song in Blazing Saddles, I'm tired.
So tired.
And there it goes. Caution is out in the Dodge State Mart 350 at Infineon Raceway. That is turn 2, and some of the curbing on the inside of the corner has been dislodged, but that's not the reason for the caution. Matt Kenseth's shredded tire at the pit entrance is why we're under the first full course yellow of the day.
I don't know who dug that up. Maybe everybody did a little bit, but whoever did is going to have some pretty serious damage.
For the most part, you're going to see most everybody still on the racetrack. We see a few guys at the back of the pack that had made green flag stops that still wants to make adjustments. But for the most part, we had cycled through all of those green flag stops guess who's back at the front? Robbie Gordon in the 31.
Kevin Harvick leads our Coca-Cola Racing family as they run here in Sonoma. Kyle Petty begins his annual charity ride this weekend. They're going to end up at the Dale Earnhardt Tribute Concert in Daytona Beach in a week, cross country, to raise money for Victory Junction Gang Camp and other worthy charities. This is not the charity ride, but a lot of folks two-wheel it into Sonoma for the race.
You don't think that's part of the Kyle's crowd?
Well, it's not leaving from here.
Oh.
So I hope not. I hope they're not part of Kyle's bunch.
All those people rode those motorcycles out here today.
Sure.
To the race.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought that was the charity ride all lined up. Cool.
Let's have a listen in on Matt Kenseth's discussion with his crew.
Hey, whatever. I mean, I should have pulled in the first lap. It's just a wiggle real bad. I mean, I wasn't 100% sure, and I knew we needed to go one more lap for a fuel deal. At 10-4. The wiggle real bad fast, I didn't know whether for sure if it was flat or hit gravel. I thought I had a flat. 10-4.
But I'm going to tell you what, when you got it, you got it. We just can't stress how lucky he was. I mean, it's 2 miles around this road course, and for that tire to come apart right over there at the entrance of pit road, that's pretty lucky.
Yeah, and then, like I said, gets a caution to boot.
To get caught back up.
He started 4th and was running 9th when this happened. He's now back on track in 24th position. He came in here with a 185-point lead over Dale Jr. 37 laps complete. Robbie Gordon once again our leader. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck. UPS delivers your chance to win 4 tickets to the Daytona 500. Log on to foxsports.com, keyword UPS Racing. Robbie Gordon, our leader, Kevin Harvick, Ron Fellows, Jeff Gordon, Boris Said, the front 5 in this first caution of the day. Always great to come out here to the Sonoma Valley. Folks get to picnic. We get to go taste a little wine, go do a little shopping, and that includes the whiniest and cheesiest of us.
Y'all are a couple of wine and cheesers. I knew that.
Have her send us up a nice case of Merlot.
I'm not sure if this is a Merlot or a Cabernet.
I really enjoy California. It is so beautiful out here.
I love Sonoma.
And, of course, we do have some work that we have to do. I mean, we are here for a race. I'm glad you lost the cucumbers. But you can't come here and not have a good time. And because drivers will make more turns on this course than any other course in NASCAR, we thought we'd get out and show you a little bit. We're on top of the Hollywood Hotel, and behind us is what is Turn 11 and Pit Road. And Jeff, if we look this way, people get a view across and where Turn 1 is. We just saw Matt Kenseth, right, lose the tire.
That was that back down toward pit road. But up here's where they got the problem with the racetrack we were talking about a minute ago. We can see some of the hospitality tents right there. But at the very top of that, you can see the grandstands full of folks. And I think right now, Chris, maybe we ought to get down from on top of the hotel and start making our way around the racetrack, make our way over toward Turn 1, maybe get an opportunity to see how bad the racetrack's being torn up. And again, I still want to go to the top of the mountain, baby. Right. I want to go see what it looks like right now in a minute. We get up on top and get an opportunity to really take an overview of what's going on here.
It's always good to have a sermon on the mounts. Maybe we'll get DW to join us, but we will go down and check out Turn 1 as well. And we'll be back live in Sonoma on Fox.
"39 cars on the lead lap here at Sonoma. We've completed 39 of 110 laps. Robbie Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Ron Fellows, Jeff Gordon going to lead them around for the restart.
And one thing that makes it hard to make a lap up at a road course is it's a single file restart. There is no lap cars to the inside. They scream for it all the time. Christmas gifts. Let's crank it up.
Dale Jarrett a spin earlier. Now he's racing Steve Park, trying to gain back some ground. That's back at 35th position.
And Mike, I think you can hear just how difficult it is, even on fresh tires, to hook these cars up. Hear a lot of wheel spin as we listen to the engines in the cars.
Everybody on fresh tires right now. Fresh tires are worth about a second and a half over those older tires they ran for so many laps.
And oh, by the way, that is as close as it looks.
Yes,
they come off that corner over there.
Problems with Ward Burton. He is on the lead lap, but that car was not running that quickly just before the caution flag, and it really didn't come to speed well on this restart. He's back there with Hideo Fukuyama, the Japanese driver who had been assessed a penalty of 1 lap for pitting out of the box.
Looks like he's possibly lost the cylinder, and I thought I saw a little haze of smoke out of the back of that 22 car.
And he was actually on pit road several times during that last caution.
And the other thing, too, is here you sometimes lose a particular gear, and you end up having to run the car maybe in 3rd gear or 4th gear, and it really hurts you around the racetrack.
Matt Kenseth cut down a tire. That's what brought out this first caution flag of the day. And he is back in 24th position.
I'm going to tell you a pretty good car that's running with him right there is Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. Spun qualifying the other day, hadn't started to rear the field. And I talked to Chad Knaus yesterday and this morning. He said, we got a good car. We just have to be smart and be patient.
Yeah, he moved up from the back pretty quickly. Got up to about 25th where he is right now, but he's been stuck there for quite a while. He's going to have something work in his favor to go any further.
The further you go, the harder it gets.
Exactly. And I just heard Ward go by. I believe that car's hung in 2nd gear because he just went by here just a zinging it.
Certainly what Matt Kenseth would like to see is to maybe get this thing cycling through pit stops again and get another caution to get caught back up. Pass as many cars as you can to get that caution to get caught back up.
Scott Pruitt running in 8th place in that 4th Ganassi car. Here's Matt.
Mike, the late Davey Allison once told me he used stock cars, the numbers on the doors, like the 43 of the King Richard Petty and the 12 of his father, the great Bobby Allison, to learn how to count. Scott Pruitt and wife Judy taking racing to another level to help kids learn how to read. He has his own book out, he and wife Judy. This is a 2nd book. Their first book, 12 Little Race Cars. Now they've got one for the Fender set, the stock car people, to teach kids how to learn how to read, but also use racing, something that excites a lot of young kids that will also maybe get them excited about learning how to read.
It's a neat deal. Very neat.
It really is. And also, I know some teachers that have used racing for to learn the countries, the cities in the United States, because all the places we go, we pretty well cover the map.
Oh, we used to count 1, 2, Earnhardt, 4.
Sorry.
Now the Singular Wireless Virtual Crew Chief question. Vote now from your Singular Wireless phone by sending text message FOX to phone number 191 or visit foxsports.com to vote online, and stay tuned for the results. Find out what's wrong with Ward Burton. Let's get out of Speedway Illustrated's Dick Berggren.
Oh, thanks, Mike. They think they have a fuel pickup problem with the car. They're not absolutely positive that's what it is, but that engine certainly sounds flat as he comes by me on pit road.
And what he means by a fuel pickup problem is, you remember, the fuel cells in the rear host 22 gallons of fuel, and it can be a challenge to get that pickup to pick up all the fuel. You put it right in the center to the rear, but they ran awfully far that first run to start having a fuel pickup problem now.
Yeah.
But because of the turning left and right, it can be a challenge for the carburetor too. You'll start spilling fuel over, and you'll think it's starving for fuel as well.
It's got, whatever it is, it's going to fix. They're going to find out here pretty soon because he's just about to quit.
Riding with Boris Said, 2nd generation road racer, with his first Winston Cup pole. Currently running 5th. Robbie Gordon with a half-second lead on teammate Kevin Harvick. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. Miller Lite. Tell it over a great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Subway. Fresh made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway. Eat fresh. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa. Get the good stuff. 47 laps complete. Kevin Harvick has caught Robbie Gordon for the lead. Ron Fellows is right there. But 2 laps ago, Rusty Wallace and Kurt Busch got together, and Busch has now fallen from 6th to 9th place as a result of that contact at turn 7.
It was a little bit more than casual. Did a little damage to the 97 car, I do believe.
Ooh, that was a hard lick, especially on Rusty's left front tire and wheel. But now Kurt's left side just looks like his right side.
Bag of walnuts.
Good thing they brought their Rubbermaid car out here.
You heard rather than felt rather than saw the contact there. Very, very tight at turn 7. They call it a bottleneck, and for good reason. So that let Rusty, Scott Pruitt, and Jeff Burton by Kurt Busch, who now gives way to Dale Jr.
And Joe Nemechek in the 25 car, he's moving in as well.
Yeah, I believe definitely got some damage on 97. It's hurt the way it's handling.
Get out of Steve Burns.
And Mike, Joe Nemechek started 21st all the way up into 11th. Peter Suspenzo as we near halfway. Can you guys be a factor in the second half of this race?
Well, we just want to have a good finish, that's all. We want to try and maintain in the points. Hopefully if we can get a top 15 finish out of here, we'll be real happy.
And I'm going to tell you what, there wasn't a lot of changes going on in the garage area this morning, but when I walked by the 25 car, they were making significant changes.
Probably went over and checked out what the rest of the Hendrick squads was doing.
There's Nemechek, who has gained 10 positions since the start of this race, as you see the biggest movers up the board.
And you know, right after that restart, Kevin Harvick started really making some move on Robbie Gordon. Now he's starting to lose some ground. We see Christian Fittipaldi, he's off the racetrack. He was already a lap down, back in 42nd position. All the cars are still out on the racetrack.
Local caution there. Is he going to make it back on, or? There's Joe Nemechek getting past Kurt Busch.
Pass for 10.
Nope. Fittipaldi is going to park it.
He's either in trouble or lost.
That's exactly right. That's what I was thinking, Larry. I was going to tell him, don't go back that way.
Drive till you find pavement, and then keep going.
Maybe he needed one of those maps on his dash.
Robbie Gordon almost 1 second up on Kevin Harvick, but look at Jeff Gordon lurking right off the back bumper of Ron Fellows and trying for third.
We are getting a report that Christian Fittipaldi had called in and said something was broke on the race car.
Yeah, I remember Jerry Nadeau here last year in that 44 car.
What a heartbreaker that
man, and of course that was a petty car, and I thought he had him a win, and slipped away right at the end.
Leading the race, and the rear end broke at the white flag with 1 to go.
Incredible.
Is that Buzz Lightyear and Woody riding along with Boris Sim?
He's got a bunch of characters.
Well, that makes 3 characters at least in that car, because you got to count Boris.
Got a car off up there at turn 7 again.
That's Hideo Fukuyama from Osaka, Japan.
Yeah, I saw him. I could see him setting up there off the course. Thought he was going to get going, but I believe it's terminal.
That's pretty well out of harm's way out there.
But that's the kind of thing they'll throw a full course yellow.
Yeah, they have thrown a caution.
Yeah. So he is up at turn 7, right up there at the top of our map.
That's where Kurt Busch and Rusty got together, and you can have some serious trouble coming across that short chute right there when you snatch that thing back into second gear.
You know, we're talking about characters. John Lasseter, who runs Pixar, and Mario Andretti are the heads of the Grand Marshal Alumni Association here. And with track president Steve Page and Tommy Smothers, they got Tom Arnold from Best Damn Sports Show, who's the Grand Marshal. And Friday night, they gave him elbow-length gloves, a feather boa for a head and neck restraint, and you just picture Mario Andretti trying to put a tiara on top of Tom Arnold as the gear he needed to be the Grand Marshal.
Yeah, the only other thing they needed was Bobby Unser there to tell him how foolish he looked.
Now, guys, I'm going to say, even though we've run 10 or 12 laps since we last went back to racing on fresh tires, most of these guys know they cannot make it from here. And remember, you race the race. You race the racetrack. I'm going to say most of the leaders are probably going to stay out until they get to that window.
See, that always confused me, but I know you're right.
Guys at the back.
No, that you're always right.
The guys at the back could be in because you know why? They're at the back and they need to get better.
Welcome back to Sonoma. Robbie Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Ron Fellows, Jeff Gordon. They all stay out on the racetrack. Matt Kenseth, the Winston Cup point leader, and Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart, the winner of this race 2 years ago, are among the contenders that do choose to come to pit road under this caution.
Yeah, come now, hope for a caution. You know, run a few laps, hope for a caution to be back at the front again. So it's a chess match, Larry. I mean, you know,
it is because once we get to about lap 70 to 75, that puts everybody in the window, and everybody's going to be to pit road at that point to go to the end without pitting. And we're getting a report that Hideo Fukuyama, he actually broke a drive shaft is what had happened to his car.
Now also Dale Jarrett, Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Johnson pit, so do Ricky Craven, Casey Mears, Johnny Benson, Jack Sprague, Steve Park, and Jimmy Spencer. Chris Myers, where are you?
Well, I'm with Jeff Hammond among the race fans, and 100,000 fans gathering here on more than 700 acres at this racetrack. So forgive the shades, right, because we have to mingle.
We're race fans right now, but we are in the middle of a Visa race break, Chris. So let's get the fans kind of brought up at home what's going on the racetrack.
Well, where we are from outside the Hollywood Hotel, some of the fans are behind us in turn one. You got to look. They're enjoying maybe a nice rosé or a Budweiser. And, Jeff, as we just saw some of the cars go by, it was Tony Raines. Turn one key in this race, because if a guy handles this well, it could set the tone for him throughout the day.
Well, it does right there. When you get to the top of the hill, you got to make sure you get shifted in the gear properly right there. As you kind of go around that corner right there, you got to be careful not really to wheel hop the car, get the car unloaded too much, and it can kind of set the tempo as you run across through second or third and all over to the fourth corner right there. All these right here has to do with rhythm. You get this first corner nailed down, it really helps.
All right, there goes Dale Jarrett. Terry Labonte went by moments ago on the two-car Rusty Wallace. There was some smoking. Let's listen in on that communication.
Car's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. I'm starting to lose the front brakes for some damn reason. I thought I started smelling brake fluid. I'm for sure here. Just got them a little hot.
Now, guys, one thing I noticed, this we got over here to turn one just before the caution came out. The two car came up the hill and made the turn right there across one. I thought I saw some smoke out of the rear of the car. The car may be losing some brake fluid, and that may be what's going on with the two car. Is not only is Rusty smelling it, he's actually putting it down on top of the headers or the trail pipes or exhaust system somewhere, and the car may be smoking a little bit because of that.
And Rusty Wallace trying to end that string of 70-plus races without a victory. This has been a Visa race break, and we thank the fans for helping us out here. We're going to wander to the top of the hill. Let's go to Dick Berggren. Dick?
Interesting strategy for the point leader, Matt Kenseth, and his crew chief, Robbie Reiser. They pitted at that point so they would have more opportunity to decide precisely when to make their final pit stop. They noted that they only lost 5 positions on that pit stop, and they've got fresh tires. Matt?
And Tony Stewart also pitted under that caution, now 17th. Tony felt like the car just was too stiff. It turned well to the left, but would not turn well at all to the right. In practice, they made a track bar adjustment. He felt like that helped the car sit lower and get more into the racetrack. That's what they did on the stop, along with a wedge adjustment.
Jeff Gordon had a look inside at Ron Fellows, but he may pay the price. He had a car right up alongside. Boris said, single file.
I tell you what, guys, we've been talking about that 09 Scott Pruitt. That car's getting better and better as this race goes on.
Yeah, it really is. And if Tony Stewart's having trouble going to the right, I mean, that's what we do here. We go to the right. You only got a couple of low left-handers, so he definitely got some work to do. Boy, look at Kurt Busch dive out there.
just to follow up on that pit stop strategy, that's the salvation, I think, for Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth. Almost everyone behind them came to pit road too, so they really didn't give up anything, but they do have fresh tires now.
Yeah, and right now is when, as you well know, Larry, we could have a quick caution here because you get the cars bunched up, somebody boots somebody around, and we have to have a caution. That works really well for the guys that came into the pits that time.
But I just believe those guys at the front, they're on their own agenda right now. They're waiting to get to about laps 70 to 75, green or yellow, and they'll be to pit road.
For Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, they've got to wait now for this race to come to them and for these leaders to cycle through pit stops. Turn 11, Dale Jr. outside Jeff Burton. That's the long way around, but it's going to put him in the right spot for the next two corners.
Clear, clear, clear.
And Larry, you got to keep telling me now that this strategy is going to work. Whoa, the 18 is around again. Not a good day for number 18.
Bobby Labonte, a spinner for the second time today.
All charging down in here, and somebody charges in a little too hard. And
Wallace in the 23.
Exactly what happens. I mean, you know, one guy gets slowed down, one guy doesn't.
He has to sit there and wait for the whole field to go by where he can get back on the racetrack.
Now here's Kenny Wallace trying to send it hard into turn 11 to get side by side there.
Yeah, he had Kenseth to his outside, and he just kept, you know, drove in pretty hard to be sure he got past Kenseth. Problem was, made it by 17. He didn't make it by 18.
This is the front spoiler cam on Kenny Wallace. Now you really get a look at how this course undulates and the curves that you dance over.
There you go again. What was that word?
Undulate.
Undulate. Okay.
Coming under the ridge, up the hill, coming up to turn 2. Now that's at the left side of that map.
There's turn 2 right there. 3 and 3A right there. Over to turn 4. Heavy braking, starting to head downhill. And this area will be the chute right here. This is kind of a new portion of the racetrack from just a few years ago. Now we're going to be in turn 7 and 7A area right there. Hard right-hand turn.
Where we got briefly alongside Todd Bodine but couldn't complete the pass.
Now we're going to go up through, we can call it turn 8, 9, and 10, but we also call it the S's.
The 25 cars off over here, guys, on the turn 10.
You'll see all the dust coming into view right here.
Now we're headed down to turn 11, the slowest part of the racetrack. Hard left, right-hand turn, a lot of brakes.
I wanted you to know about that 25 car because I knew you were coming. I didn't want you to know. I wanted you to know what that dust was.
Thank you, Spotter. At turn 12, the left-hander that leads back to the start-finish line. Joe Nemechek okay after that brief off-course excursion. Let's show it to you at turn 10.
About completely missed the corner, but he was very lucky.
Come down those S's, and that's, as we've said before, the fastest part of the speedway into that turn 10 area, and it's so easy to overdrive that turn and get off.
Yeah, he only lost 2 or 3 positions, but I'm going to tell you, the battle for the lead between these two teammates, Robbie Gordon at 31, Kevin Harvick at 29, and right past halfway, it is starting to heat up.
Don't forget who cost, well, I don't know if he cost him or not, but anyway, he affected the outcome of the race here a couple of years ago, was when Kevin Harvick got into a race. He was a lap down with his teammate there.
Whoa, 3 ways!
Ron Fellows is going to take advantage, and he's going to take the lead.
How about that? Ron Fellows took advantage of both Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I just hope that Ron didn't get any damage on that left rear tire because they did make some pretty heavy contact right there.
And the biggest fear is catching a foul stem, knocking air out of the tires. But since they don't have an inner liner, they're running that foul stem on the inside of the wheel.
Watch this one car, the yellow car.
Kevin Harvick couldn't keep his car down. Ron Fellows took advantage of both of them.
And let's ride along with Robbie Gordon as he gives up the lead.
You see that tire smoke? Watch this. Locks that baby up. He's in there really, really hot and really, really hard, and she won't turn when you got the wheels locked up.
There we see this. Oh boy, Jack Sprague and Steve Park at turn 7.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Yeah, I killed it on the right front. Did that.
They were back there battling for about 33rd position. Both of them still on the lead lap.
Leader has taken the caution, and both of those cars are pretty well used up. But Darrell, that pass for the lead, we see this time and again on a road course. Two cars go into the corner side by side. They're each trying to stay off of each other, each trying to win the corner but not upset each other, and somebody times it right and drives right under and past him, and that's just what Ron Fellows did.
Yeah, Ron was setting in the perfect position to watch the whole thing and take advantage of it.
That was the catbird seat.
Yes, it was. Oh, the 38 cars.
Gets into Kyle.
Taking Kyle around. Here comes Tony Stewart. Todd Bodine going by, and then all of a sudden Kyle
drove right in front of those guys. Jack Sprague had to check up. Steve Park had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And now you know the rest of the story.
There's always the rest of the story.
And more to it, right? Now, DW, you have to believe in me. I'm still about 12 laps shy of my window.
Sell me,
Keep
baby.
those tires cleaned off, because everybody's going to stay out with us at the front of the pack. Not going to pit.
Sell me, man. Sell me, because I'm wanting to come to pit.
What we're looking at out here from the tower here at Neon Raceways, we're seeing
58 laps complete, Larry.
Well, again, I don't want to make more pit stops than I need. I need to get to lap 70. I'm about 12 laps away from that. If I'm in the top 15, I'm not coming to pit road. We may see the guys at the back. That's the reason I still question the strategy on Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, and Bobby Labonte. How about it, Steve Burns?
Hey, Larry Mack, we just heard that very conversation between Robbie Loomis and Jeff Gordon. Gordon saying, I've gotten super loose on the left-hander. And Robbie Loomis said, hey, just stay with us. We need to stay out a little bit longer. They had that very conversation.
And I mean, that's the way you have to do it. At a road course, you're racing your own strategy. You're racing the amount of laps and how far you can run on fuel.
Now, it seems that this caution may have come out too soon to really benefit Kenseth, Stewart, and Labonte, because if many of the leaders don't pit, well, then they're stuck back there.
But I still don't see how even that would benefit them, Mike, because they still were going to have to make a green flag stop too.
Right.
So if the caution comes out after all the leaders come to pit road, it don't help them because they have to still pit. A lot of fluid from Steve Park, probably an oil cooler all the way down pit road.
Now let's watch this whole thing unfold up here at turn 7. There's Elliott Sadler hits Kyle Petty. Kyle spins around, grabs himself a gear, tries to get going again.
Boy.
Oh boy!
You know, it's almost as if Kyle was his view was restricted, his vision was restricted. He didn't see those guys coming. Like maybe his headrest and everything was up there in his way, and he just didn't see them coming.
Okay, DW. Thank you, buddy. You stayed out.
Man, I know, but you had to sell me and keep on doing it. But you only got to do it one more time, so.
So caution is out for the 3rd time today at Infineon Raceway. Ron Fellows has taken the lead from Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. We're just past halfway in the Dodge St. Mart 350 at Infineon Raceway. What a great job that Speedway Motorsports, Steve Page, president of this track, has done in adding all of these grandstand seats and terraces and VIP areas. The place now seats over 70,000, and there's a crowd of 100,000 on hand here to watch NASCAR's best go at it. There's that brand new grandstand at the front start-finish line and suites. There's a new admin building up the hill, and they're going to repave the track this August. Mark Martin had a problem, and it was another one of those little chain reaction situations coming up the hill at turn number 10.
Actually, I think that's up here at turn 2, Mike.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, coming up the
turn
hill.
2, excuse me.
Turn 2. And that's so easy to happen. You slow down a little bit more than the guy in front of you slows down a little bit more than you do, and you get into the back of him. Coming around here, coming around, and
now it was Kyle Petty got in the back of Jamie McMurray, who got into Mart, and then Mart gets off the road again, coming down the hill. Jimmy Spencer making a pit stop. A little problem on the right rear of Spencer's car. And we'll have some other pit stops under this caution as they clean things up. And we go looking for the front desk manager and concierge of the Hollywood Hotel.
oh, brother, where are you? Oh, brother, where art thou?
What? All right, well, we're up in the mountains, and Artie Kepner, our director, said, go up to the top of Cougar Mountain where you get a good view of the race. And we're not two guys that are too macho to ask for directions. We didn't get lost. We actually came up here for a great view of this racetrack.
Yes, you really can. You can see over our shoulders behind us. It's a fantastic view. We were just sitting there a minute ago getting an opportunity. We could see, who was leading the race as far as, there's Robbie Gordon and Jeff Gordon up toward the front along with Ron Fellows. I mean, it's a beautiful view up here, and there's just the countryside around us is just spectacular.
And we're actually higher than the spotters are, and when this race at the start-finish line, you're about 10, 11 feet above sea level, and where we are, which is Cougar Mountain, we're about 600 feet above sea level. What would happen if I pushed you? Would you roll down to the track?
I'm taking you with me, baby. That's all I got to tell you right now.
Not a bad suggestion. Now, look, you're a crew chief. You did a little spotting in your day. Let's take a look here. Can you actually identify the cars from where we are? Basically, can you see the numbers from here? And I don't think if we can get a view through the camera, you're seeing what we're seeing.
I mean, right now we're taking a look at Ron Fellows right there following the pace car, followed closely by Kevin Harvick. You got Robbie Gordon, the 31, 24 of Jeff Gordon. Hopefully you can see the color of the cars easier than you can the numbers, but you got Boris Said, followed by Scott Pruitt. Rusty Wallace right there, in line behind him is Jeff Burton. So the spotters have an excellent view from up here, with one exception, which is right in behind the garage area, and that's where you may need some help from your crew chief or a secondary spotter.
All right, and if we can look too, beyond out in this area, if you go, that's towards Oakland and San Francisco, and then back beyond that area is where Napa Valley and the rest of Sonoma Valley is. So,
hey, if you don't think we're not high up, here comes a helicopter, and we're actually higher than a helicopter right now.
All right. Well, maybe we'll catch a ride back as they're getting ready to go green. This place is great. There's a great view everywhere from the top of the mountain. Can you see with Jeff? Can you see the helicopter? All right. Maybe he'll get us. Can you see where we are? We'll wave. All right. Let's go. Let's go to the restart, Mike.
Green flag, green flag, green flag, green flag.
Single file restart. And Kevin Harvick wants Ron Fellows coming up the hill, and he may get him.
I don't know. Ron is pretty darn good. That's the kind of stuff that he can do so well.
Boy, Harvick had the momentum, Darrell, as they went to turn one, but
tell you what, if Harvick can stay with Ron Fellows, he's doing a yeoman's job, because Ron is smooth.
But when I look at our top five, Darrell, and you and I were talking about this earlier, Kevin Harvick, Robbie Gordon, Rusty Wallace, little off-road excursion.
All around.
But Robbie Gordon, Kevin Harvick, and Boris all running that race yesterday.
All that dust is causing these guys a problem coming down the hill there to turn 4.
Yeah, he was running in the 9th position.
I think he probably got caught up in some of that delayed reaction. So both of our point contenders, Matt Kenseth and Dale Jr., both have had a bit of an excursion so far. Matt with his flat tire didn't hurt him too badly, but this is going to put Jr. way back.
Well, look at Jr. now. He's hustling the car up and over these curbs, and that may take its toll. Here's Robbie on the inside of his teammate Harvick.
Oh, he's trying, baby. I'm telling you, he's all over it.
The only good thing about those guys, and there's still only left. Yeah, we do have a caution now, but the thing about it, this race is getting late.
making up all that ground you just lost.
Can I pit now?
I still need you to run about 8 or 9 more laps. Just keep your tires clean.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. I have to get to at least lap 70 to 72, and I'm at lap 62.
How far have I got to go?
Well, let's show you what brings the caution out. And it is debris all over the track. Rusty Wallace got turned around. And here goes Dale Jr. Cones flying, dust flying.
I heard Rusty say he thought he was having a brake problem. I heard him say he thought he smelled brake fluid, possibly having a brake problem in the front. So that may have added to that problem. Looks like Rusty's around way early, almost like he may have gotten booted coming up over the top of the hill back there.
See from his onboard as he was coming down the hill toward turn 4.
So Rusty went from about 6th or 7th back to 33rd, and then Dale Earnhardt Jr. went from 9th to 32nd.
That would not make me very happy if someone did that to me right there.
And see what happens with Junior here.
You know, it looked like
he checked up and got booted.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to tell you something, and that sounds serious. Trying to avoid an accident, and I tell you, I think he may have damaged his drivetrain.
So we're under caution for the 4th time at Infineon Raceway. Ron Fellows is our leader. We'll see who pits when we come back. Working the 4th caution of the day, the leaders did not pit. Fellows, Harvick, Gordon, and Said. As you look at that turn 7 area, it's been one of the trouble spots today from our Budweiser aerial coverage. Field working its way down through the S's. 63 laps complete in the Dodge Save Mart 350. Dick Berggren.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. decided that he should come in and have his crew at least take a look at that car. They fired 4 tires at it, and in the process, Jackman Kevin Pinnell went right down on the asphalt, trying to come around the corner. What happened was one of his feet landed on a pair of lug nuts, and that's it. That's like stepping on a couple of ball bearings, and down he went. He's okay. Earnhardt's back on the track with 4 fresh tires and an opportunity to try to pass some people, and he's going to need to do that.
And let me tell you, Bill Elliott, he was one of the cars that was running at the front. He did come to pit road for 4 tires, along with Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace. Mark Martin came and got fuel only. Johnny Benson, and of course we saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now what this will do for these guys is now they can run on those tires and fuel till about 5 to 10 laps to go. What they would possibly do then is come to pit road for just a splash of fuel much quicker than a 4-tire stop under green. But what those guys have to have, they need this race to go green to the end.
Ron Fellows trying to become the first non-Winston Cup regular to win since Mark Donohue in 1973, 30 years ago.
On a road course, right?
Right, on a road course.
Now here's the restart line right there. This is where the green flag will be displayed. It's right past the last turn, probably about 300 yards shy of the start-finish line. That's where you can accelerate and start racing.
Speaking of Mark Donohue, that was 30 years ago. That was in the Matador.
Right, for Roger Penske.
Watch out for the Matador. I wonder if how many of our new, recently acquired fans ever knew that the Matador, I guess, was a Nash, right?
Yeah, American Motors.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow, that's using up all the road and then some. Everybody on their best behavior on this restart.
It's not too bad up near the front. That's where the best view is. Where it gets really tangled up is that chain reaction back in the pack. That's where you have trouble.
I'm going to tell you that right here, looking out of the back of Boris Said, the 01 car, and Scott Pruitt in the 09 right behind him, the Target car. These guys, these road race specialists, they are starting to go at it. And look at Jeff Burton in that 99 car. He wants that position as well. Kurt Busch gets in the back of his teammate right there.
Dave Blaney battles Ryan Newman.
And I'm going to tell you what, Dave Blaney, he's sitting up there in the top 10 in 9th position, but you know what he's done all day? He's kept his nose clean. He stayed on the racetrack after starting back in the 15th position.
And Ricky Rudd trying to work his way back up through. They had shifter problems earlier.
Obviously, some of these cautions worked in their favor because they fixed that shifter, looks like.
Scott Pruitt had a run on Jeff Gordon there. Gordon goes after Boris Said, and here comes Burton. This could get big.
This is big.
It's a battle for 4th.
This is big and ugly. Ooh. Here comes more cars. Oh.
Rewind. That can't work.
Won't work. It didn't work.
Silhouette.
There you see Dave Blaney and Bob. Look at them stacking up behind them.
Like I said, big and ugly.
Synchronized spinning. No caution. No caution.
I give him about a 10. Well, I don't know, 9.5. I give him a 9.5 on that.
Well, that was ugly. Ricky Rudd and our point leader, Matt Kenseth, got through it. Now, no yellow flags as yet.
Yeah, poor old
Dave Blaney's in trouble. He's got a flat tire.
Blaney's got problems.
Here come 2 of our leaders to pit road.
You know why they came to pit road? One, if they're in their fuel window, they thought the caution was going to come out as well. If you're on pit road and the caution comes out, it's a free pit.
It may come out yet, Larry, because the 77 is just creeping down the back over here.
How about it, Dick Berggren?
Now, Kevin Harvick has had a terrific run all day, and the last piece of plastic covering his windshield has just been removed. They're going to fire 4 at it. He needs a little bit more forward grip coming off the corner, but probably every other driver here does as well. Another flawless stop for Harvick. He's gone.
And Dick, Kevin Hamlin yelled in the radio, pit, pit, pit. Robbie Gordon having trouble with the forward bite and air pressure adjustment to try to fix that race car. Robbie Gordon trying to win his first road course race in Wisdom competition. And it's going to be a drag race off between his teammate. Who's going to win it, Mike?
It is Harvick, the first of them off pit road. Ricky Rudd also pits, so does Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, Michael Waltrip, and Blaney does make it onto pit road, but the left front of that car is junk. Darrell, 3 cars into that. They call it the Bud bottleneck, and for good reason. That just won't work.
Yeah, I kind of felt like something like that just might happen, you know. They're just back in the pack back here. You get everybody real aggressive, and look at that. I mean,
I've never seen anything like
you
it.
couldn't do that any prettier.
Look at Ryan Newman in the 12. He barely gets by.
And who was just bragging on Dave Blaney keeping his nose clean not seconds ago.
It was not of his making.
No.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do it this time.
He was a victim. Well, that sure shuffled things up, and we have not had a caution as a result of this synchronized spinning. Show you what Michael Waltrip saw of all this.
He came to pit road, Michael did, so I'm not sure if he had damage or not, or if he's just in that fuel window.
Yeah, the guys that pit it, there you see Michael Waltrip just stopping. Is Michael Waltrip, Greg Biffle, Jimmy Johnson, Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick, and Robbie Gordon all came to pit road at lap 66 with 44 to go. Bobby Labonte's on pit road as well. Dick Berggren.
Just talked to Todd Berrio, crew chief for Happy Harvick, and he said they are all done pitting. I wanted to be sure, so I asked gas man Brian Engelhardt, and he confirmed, unless something untoward happens, they are all done making their pit stop. And just now, Berrier has come on the radio and told Harvick, pick your spots, be smooth. He could win this race with this strategy. Matt.
And Dick, that's exactly what Kevin Hamlin just told his driver Robbie Gordon. We can go the distance, but take it easy on those tires. Save them for the finish. To Steve.
And Matt, Jeff Gordon, this is a good stop for him. He said he had gotten super loose. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. They tear off a windshield screen for him. They come around to the left side of the car. Track bar adjustments already been made. Left side tires on. A little bit of trouble on the left front, but Gordon is away.
And we just want to make everybody understand why these guys didn't come to pit road about 4 laps ago when there was a caution. Now they're pitting under green. They are to the window that they can go the distance without pitting now.
And this is running your race, Larry, from the back to the front. Instead of from the front to the end, you start your race at the end and figure it backwards.
It's a lot like they do in Indy cars and other kind of racing. When they get in their fuel window, they pit no matter what's going on. But I want to show you a car that this guy he has killed this car. That's the only way I know how to explain it. Look at this thing.
Oh, no, it's looked that.
It's both sides,
like Friday,
the rear, and he's still running 5th. Maybe it's just getting right now.
He's got something dragging underneath. I think what that is a rear brake duct hose.
Yeah, he needs to lose a few parts off of it anyway.
He's definitely proven aerodynamics does not mean a whole lot here, though.
But from where he sits, that car looks pretty.
Yeah.
But he still has to come to pit road and make that final stop. Now, Dave Blaney, who was running up in 9th, now he's back in 39th, 1 lap down. Just after that, being a victim up there a while ago in turn 7.
Meanwhile, Ron Fellows runs out in front of this pack uncontested. He's opened up 5.5 seconds on Boris Said. The cars between Fellows and Said have pitted. And Matt Kenseth, the point leader, is up to 3rd. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. New Quaker Steak, the power to reduce friction. And Pepsi-Cola, experience the joy of Pepsi. Caution is out once again. This will be the 5th one of the day. Christian Fittipaldi backed it into the tire wall. You see there on the outside of turn number 10. And the Cheerios Dodge headed for pit road thereafter. That is not one of his tires. That's from the soft wall barrier there.
Now, Larry, Ron Fellows, our leader, has not been to pit road. So obviously he's going to have to come to pit road. But I ask you this. All the guys that have been to pit road, can they make it from here on fuel?
Yes, they can. That's the reason they've been on pit road. And I don't mean to make a bold statement. With this many laps to go, that caution just cost Ron Fellows this race.
There's no
and
question.
Boris Said.
If he'd have come to pit road 1 lap ago, he'd be in the catbird seat.
And it's not good for Matt Kenseth, who's running in 3rd right now, our points leader. We know he has to come to pit road. Now, if you were not to your fuel window yet, different story. But if you were, let me tell you something. You hadn't been to pit road, you have a sick feeling in your stomach.
Yeah,
right
I saw Mart come back in and top up. So I think that was what I was wondering in a case here where if some of these guys are going to at least have to come to pit road to top up to make it on fuel. I was just curious if some of them would make it or not.
And again, don't forget single file restarts. There's only 1 car off the track. That is Jack Sprague. So if you pit now, it's going to be a long way back to the front. Kyle Petty and Scott Pruitt got together just prior to the caution flag coming out.
Kyle has had a very eventful day.
Yeah, it's the same place. We've seen trouble just about all day there. Kyle's obviously his car. I don't think Kyle's very happy with Scott right now, based on what I'm seeing.
Here's a look at the incident that brought out the caution. Christian Fittipaldi locked it up and backed it into the tire wall at turn 10. Now remember, we race to the caution flag at the start-finish line, unlike most road racing series. Robbie Gordon.
If I'm Robbie Gordon, I say, I didn't know the caution was out.
But he knows if he didn't get by him there, he may not get by him.
That's right.
Pit stops. Ron Fellows, Boris Said lead them onto pit road, along with Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Todd Bodine, McMurray, and Marlin. Here's Dick.
Matt Kenseth and his crew chief, Robbie Reiser, have been in conversation about who might be able to make it all the way of the cars that have already pitted. They decided only the 20 car, Tony Stewart, could do it, so they waited until they got into their fuel window and pitted now. To Matt.
On his first pit stop, Ron Fellows felt like the car took too long to come in, so they made an air pressure adjustment all the way around. That's the same pressures they put on this stop. Ron Fellows trying to add a Winston Cup victory to an already Busch and Truck Series win on his resume.
Mark Martin came in. You see a lot of the other cars that pitted, and there is a bottleneck at the exit of pit road as well.
And Ricky Rudd, that had been on pit road earlier for 4 tires, he has to come back to pit road to top off the fuel, the 21 car.
We're under caution in Sonoma. Final round of pit stops pretty much complete, and that has moved Johnny Benson up into the lead. You see the order just before Ron Fellows and Boris Sitt peeled off for pit road, but Benson is now our leader over Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, Bill Elliott, and Robbie Gordon, who just 2 laps ago turned his fastest lap of the race. Speaking of fast action, I'm not exactly sure where Chris Myers and his sidekick have gotten off to. Hey, that's our production trailer. What are you doing there?
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
We see this race from every angle. Here's the way that you see it. Let's move. The guys who sent us to the top of that mountain. All right, this is the production. This is where it all happens. You have our coordinating producer here. We have Pam Miller. That's Nelson Scopatoni. We call him Scope. That's Rich Basilio, pushes buttons. The world-famous Artie Kempner. There he is. He's very shy. And then, of course, Neil Goldberg. Producer extraordinaire. And whose idea was it to send Hammond and I way up in that Cougar Mountain? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. You had a great view from the race. Artie, you want to tell people what you're doing there with the buttons, or does Neil tell you what to do all the time? Okay, Richie does the buttons, and you call the cameras.
I call the cameras. This is a great job.
What does Neil do?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Watch TV.
He watches TV at races. And, of course, the back row here, the Peanut Gallery. Yep. Any comments, Pam? Okay, Pam yells at the pit reporters. Tell them to come up with something. She never yells. All right, keep up the good works. But wait, great working with you guys. All right, you see they're real talkative. They're going to send us up another mountain. All right, let's get back to racing here.
Yeah, close the door there, Chris, because they're all allergic to sunlight in there.
Yeah.
74 laps complete this next time by. We're going to restart with Benson in front. Wallace, Ward Burton is up to third. Kurt Busch rejoins the race with that battered car, as does Jack Sprague.
I got to think about Ward Burton. I mean, he struggled along there, stayed on the lead lap. Thing was half running. They were having a fuel pickup problem, I found out later on, and now he's up there in third place.
Dick Berggren.
Well, the actual fuel problem, Darrell, was that they had a fuel line that was a little bit close to the radiator water. It was causing a bit of vapor lock. They have got that fixed, and they last pitted on lap 63. Crew Chief Frank Stoddard, are you guys done, or are you going to have to pit again?
We really don't have any idea. We had to change carburetors. You know, we had a problem with a stumbling situation early there. Well, it developed around lap 30. You know, we're hoping we'll get a little bit of a break today. We got a guy that heart's a little bit sad today. Tracy Christensen's been with this team for about 5, 6, 7 years. He's moving back to New York, and so we're hoping to pull something off here for him today.
You never told me if you're going to pit again.
I don't know, I told you. I don't. If I was a carburetor, and I could tell you, but I'm probably not going to come again. I mean, you know, what the heck? What I got to lose? You know, that's what Larry would do.
You got it. Larry, that's what you do?
I'm going to tell you, though, that's 47 laps. That's a lot of laps to run on fuel here. But Bill Elliott, Rusty Wallace, and Ward Burton were all on pit road together at that same time.
That's what Larry would do if it works. since we're up here, right?
Now our point leaders, Matt Kenseth will restart 23rd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 20th. And Jeff Gordon is 8th. The field is all jumbled up. Here we go.
Now, Joe Nemechek in the 25 car, he's on the tail end of the lead lap. He wants to see a caution here right away.
Ron Fellows, who was leading at the caution, takes the restart green flag, 8.6 seconds behind the leader as the field strings out for the single file restart.
Now this one it gets interesting. I mean, you got guys back there now that got fast cars that are going to have to pass some cars if they're going to win this race.
8.6 seconds. Biggest thing is 21 cars, though.
Yes, but that's tough when you spot the leader that amount of time and have to get your way back to the front in 36 laps. Gordon and Harvick continue their little intramural battle.
I need to make a note, Johnny Benson in the 10 car leading this race. He was on pit road with Rusty and Ward Burton and those other guys at lap 63 as well.
Yeah, the way it's looking, I don't know if Nemechek can hold him off or not. But Johnny looks a little quicker.
And how about Bill Elliott in that 9 car running in 4th position?
Here goes Benson. Going to put Nemechek back a lap down.
Robbie Gordon in the 31. He's going by Bill Elliott. That's a battle for 4th, and he's pulling his teammate Kevin Harvick with him.
But now Elliott with the preferred line now for turn 12 and for turn 1.
What I was going to say about Bill Elliott, remember, it hadn't been that long ago he injured that foot, broke that foot. This is the toughest place you can come with a broken foot, but he's still out there digging.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious if you're going to have problems, have it early and be in position at the end. Matt.
Well, DW, the 10 car is about 2 to 3 laps shy of making it to the end. Now, how is James Ince getting part of his race strategy? Back in the 70s, they used to have an old 8 ball that you shake it up and all of a sudden it would pop up the answer. That's how Ince is getting his race strategy today.
The magic 8-ball. Scott Pruitt has come to pit road. He's had a strong race, but he got tied up there with Kyle Petty a bit. And we'll make a pit stop here with 35 to go. Steve?
Mike, we heard Scott Pruitt a few laps ago say the car's good, but I'm having trouble downshifting into second. And it seems like he had it. We just heard him say that he had it stuck in gear. They just stopped on pit road. He's headed back onto the racetrack.
The good thing, he's still going to stay on the lead lap. He's just going to have a lot of ground to make up in a short time to do it.
35 miles an hour at the apex of turn number 11. That's as slow as you can go in Winston Cup racing.
There goes Harvick. I thought he was going to make the pass on Bill, but Bill had the preferred line there and beats him up off of turn 11. But Harvick and company are trying to charge back to the front.
Now, Robbie Gordon just drove by Ward Burton in the 22 car. That moves him into the third position.
Robbie's in pretty good shape here, Larry. With his pit work all done, he can make it to the end.
And most of the road course ringers he's got to beat. Morris said, Ron Fellows, they are well back in the pack as a result of those pit stops under the last caution.
I mean, just look at the miles per hour and the RPM difference. You know, a lot of places we go, we'll only see 1,000, 1,200 RPMs difference. Look all the way down to about 4,000 RPMs up to 7,500. You don't turn that many RPMs for that amount of time. You will get up in that 90-something range a few times.
Yeah, this kind of RPM really doesn't hurt the engines that badly. It's that hanging RPM we talk about like you get at Pocono or Michigan. Here it's just up and down, like Martinsville.
Look, he's really gaining on the leader. I mean, that interval definitely keeps shrinking up there.
Yeah, Robbie's really coming hard and fast.
Yeah, it's car lengths, not seconds now. Now, we told you about the low speed and the hairpin. You're going to see it here.
I think the big thing is look how quickly they slow down. From 120 miles an hour down to 35 miles an hour.
And a top speed on that last lap of 122 miles an hour. But folks, that's the fastest 35 miles an hour you'll ever drive, trying to slide one of those cars off turn 11. Now, among our point leaders, Matt Kenseth is 21st, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now 18th. Dick?
Very interesting conversation for Dale Earnhardt Jr., who just keyed his radio and told his crew, and I quote, "Keep my head on straight. Remind me to keep focused. I want to finish this race. I'm trying to keep my car on the track. Let's work together to do that." Interesting stuff, Mike.
Very. And a fellow who came in here, he and Kenseth, we mentioned, have only one top 20 finish here between them. So here's Junior looking on Michael Waltrip, his teammate.
It's a battle for 17.
Michael's had a good run today. He's been in the top 15 just about all day long, but for the cycling through pit stops.
Yeah, you know, he always amazes me. The last several weeks particularly, they'll hang around the top 15, then he's 12th. All of a sudden he's up to 9th, and when the races are with, he's in the top 4 or 5.
Looking at Mark Martin in 20th, right behind Ron Fellows. Make that now 21st. Matt Kenseth has passed him, and let's go do a little dancing.
Yeah, there's no question in my mind this is where Shaky Booty came from right here, because those little silver things on the back of Mark's heels, that's to keep his heels from getting burned. And you can see just does just a lot of little tap dancing down in here, you know. Tap the brake, tap the throttle, jump over here and punch the clutch. So he gets a clutch. Now he's back to the brake. Nice work. Working the throttle all the time.
Now Mark is using the clutch to upshift.
I think most of the older drivers do, because we all learned this road race using the clutch. It's a habit you just can't break. Sure doesn't hurt anything.
But it is not frequent that you'll see road racers be braking with their left foot.
No, that is unusual. Normally you use your right foot to heel and toe.
Morissette just got past Mark Martin. Seth, trying to march his way back to the front, is up to 21st. On point is Johnny Benson, and he has been caught by Robbie Gordon.
Oh, Robbie slid wide there.
I think he was guilty of overdriving the entrance of the corner.
I think he's also guilty of looking at the scoreboard and knowing the laps are running out too. He better get up there if he's going to.
Have you over-revved your voice today?
I believe I have.
Well, we'll put a different chip in you to get you through
way too high chip all weekend long.
These last 30 laps here.
Kind of like it that way. You hadn't screamed at me all day long. I think
but you listened to me. That's the reason I did that.
Wow, Gordon just took it right to the edge of the curbing, trying to find a way around Johnny Benson. Whoa,
man, that's off that curbing down there in turn 4. And here comes Gordon underneath. Wise move right there. He's faster than Benson. Obviously, he's chasing him down. All he's got to do is wait for opportunity down here in turn 11 and zing right past him.
I'm going to tell you what, his teammate Kevin Harvick, he's still stuck back there in 6. He cannot get by Bill Elliott in the 9 car.
No, Robbie's really done a good job. His car's really good on these fresh tires he's on right now. Time to go if you're going to win the race. Here he comes. I think he'll probably set Benson up right here.
Yeah, he's giving Johnny all he wants.
I think Benson will probably yield.
Crossover.
Pretty hard to do right there. You're going so slow unless the guy in front of you really gets out of shape. Now all he's got to do is ride. Pace yourself. Stay on the track.
30 laps to go.
But I like what Benson did. He gave Gordon the entrance to the corner so it didn't slow him down.
Right.
So they didn't get battling side by side in the middle of the corner.
Kevin Harvick in the 29 along with Jeff Gordon in the 24. They finally get by Bill Elliott. That moves Harvick up into the 5th position.
Kevin Harvick 3 seconds behind Robbie Gordon when they crossed the line that time. 30 laps to go. Let's show you that pass in the hairpin.
Yeah, see, Bill, remember last time through there what happened? Bill outdrug him off that corner. Bill had the preferred line. And I think that Harvick wanted the preferred line more than Bill wanted to keep it.
And who took advantage with him? Jeff Gordon comes up into play. He's now moved up into the 6th position. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Visa. Visa.com/NASCAR for an incredible NASCAR offer. .28 laps to go. A little Pepsi fan cam action as they're out there having fun in the warm California sun today.
Doing a little boogity, 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 too.
Robbie Gordon's lead extended by 0.4 of a second that time over Rusty Wallace. Johnny Benson is 3rd. Kevin Harvick. Jeff Gordon just passed Ward Burton for 5th rather. Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, and Bobby Labonte are the top 10. And just a little bit ago, Robbie Gordon got the call.
Robbie. Sir. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Kevin. Not wrecking race cars and lose this race. We got 2 good race cars. Drivers short out. I am going to be hot.
10-4.
I have been on the end of that other voice before. That was Carl and Richard Childress. And what he was talking about earlier when Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick got into each other down there in turn 11 and lost the lead to Ron Fellows. And then I think they were kind of beating and banging after that a little bit too.
And look at Robbie. He's got his shield up. Probably got a dark shield on there, and he does not want to miss his marks. I think you get a little dirt on the windshield from the road racing, and you got a dark shield on. Sometimes you raise that shield up so you can get a better look at the racetrack. Don't want to hit the oil or anything.
Also, while we were away, Tony Stewart went around.
He was running in the 8th position, and now he's all the way back to the 29th position, 21 seconds behind leader Robbie Gordon.
Let's show you Tony Stewart's spin.
Looked like possibly Ryan Newman in the 12 got in the back of him there.
And here you just don't have a caution flag and gather up and get going. Or a set. You know, this race stays green. You've got to gather it up and you find yourself half a minute or so behind.
Now you may have to do a little real quick refresher course in your anger management, because you're probably pretty angry right along then.
tell you what, Rusty Wallace in that 2 car, he's running in second. He's pulled out quite a ways from Johnny Benson. And Johnny Benson continues to hold off Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick. In fact, Gordon's going side by side with Harvick right now for 4th.
Jeff Gordon makes the move underneath. Takes the spot.
I think that 10 car, Larry, may be in jeopardy of having to come to pit road for fuel. What do you think?
That's going to be a long way, as we said, 47 laps. And there you see Dale Jarrett in the 88 car. He's out of harm's way, but looks like his day is over.
Yeah, he's at turn 12, and he's off in what used to be Gilligan's Island.
And that would be his 6th DNF of 2003. He's back 26th in points.
Well, when we had the camera on up under the rear of the car earlier, and all that wheel hopping that car was doing, it wouldn't surprise me if it didn't get a gear.
Jeff Gordon right now stalking Johnny Benson for 3rd. Let's go to Gordon's pit. Steve?
With Robbie Loomis. Robbie, before you pitted on lap 68, we heard Jeff say he was super loose. Did you fix him up?
I think we did. You know, we made a couple adjustments to it. The DuPont crew's been doing a great job. Brian White's our man here. He called a great con getting in the pits and getting out there. So we got a couple cars out. We got a few laps on us, out ahead of us, but we got a long way to go. We just got to be smooth. And so far, he said the car's a little better for him.
Can you go the distance, Robbie?
Oh yeah, we feel like we're pretty good on that. We're going to count our blessings if we have to.
Well, he's 7 seconds though behind Robbie Gordon.
But I'm going to tell you, I talked to Robbie Loomis this morning. They see Jeff Gordon moving underneath Johnny Benson for 3rd. And he said he knew they had a good race car. And why? Last night, Jeff Gordon called and said, "You're not going to change nothing on that race car, are you?" And he said Jeff Gordon never calls him on Saturday night and asks him anything about the race car.
Kevin Harvick looking at Benson, nothing there. Meanwhile, Ron Fellows continues to climb his way through this field. He just went past Elliott Sadler and Ricky Craven, moving him up to 15.
Well, him and Boris Said, which is right in front of him in the 01 car, a pole sitter, they're somewhat moving through the field together. Boris pokes the hole, Ron goes through it with him.
Yeah, Boris lost a bunch of time right there off of turn 2. He got things sideways.
But with the cars ahead of them that have to make pit stops, both drivers are on pace for a top 10 finish.
Yeah, that's what they're counting on right now, that those some of those guys in front of them are going to come back to pit road for a splash of fuel.
Problem is, as far as winning the race, they're 13, 14 seconds behind our leader, Robbie Gordon.
They would like to see a caution, right?
Well, what happens here, you have a late caution, and you're running back there at about 25th spot. And I've finished in the top 15 here about 4 times because on that last restart with 4 or 5 laps to go, all of a sudden everybody wrecks in front of you and you just slip right through and get you a good top 10, 15 finish.
You know, running right in front of these guys, though.
3 wide, and it didn't work again. Nemechek and the Burton brothers tried to go into turn 11, 3 abreast.
And they were battling each other for 7th.
Well, here comes the 1 car, and who else? Here comes Boris. Here comes Boris. I think that's Jimmy Johnson.
Ken's about out in front of that group. You're right.
Yeah, Jeff's going to go back from about 7th back to about 12th. So he didn't lose a lot of ground.
Well, almost.
But that puts Said right on the back bumper of Burton for 12th. Here's what happened. 3 abreast.
Just in way too high. Way too high. Entrance too fast for conditions.
Got a car real slow down through the S here. It's the 66 car. I think he'll make it back. It looks like he's on a coast, though. Boy, he's right. Here comes the leader.
We're hearing that the engine blew up on that.
Boy, this could be the caution that Ron Fellows and Boris Said have been looking for.
Yeah, I think that car will make it to the pit road.
It's downhill from there.
But the problem is, can he make it all the way around pit road? Because he can't block the pit road entrance. He's got a local yellow over there right now.
That's where you see they see it waving right there.
I think they're going to have a caution, Larry, because he can't make it all the way through all the way into the pits.
And there may be oil at turn 7, we're told. So here's Fukuyama getting to the pit lane.
Say a single file. I mean, there's no room on pit road for a car to get by. Has to come to pit road. So I feel like they'll probably have to clear him off of pit road.
That would erase Robbie Gordon's 3.6-second lead over Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, and Kevin Harvick. Here's what happened to Fukuyama 1 lap ago.
Right in turn 11, he pretty much had to go all the way around the racetrack to get back to pit road.
There he is. I'm pretty sure
And Tony Raines has spun.
Caution is out. Not what Robbie Gordon wanted to see.
Round to the flag.
That was Richard Childers, and he was not happy about that.
We didn't need that.
No, Robbie, you're right.
You did, Robbie.
But you can't block pit road either.
No.
Oh, now it's running again? Well, imagine that. Here's the race back to the line. Said and Fellows. Behind them, Mayfield and Biffle. Oh, boy!
Good grief.
Tough break for Ron Fellows.
Man, he got the caution he needed to get him closed up.
He passed all those cars.
Passed all those guys, and he gets booted coming to the caution.
Digging there.
He had moved up to 13.
He's on the end, very clear right there. 19 spun him out.
Yes, he did.
And let's see what happened to Tony Raines. I think he had a little help.
Yeah, he had a lot of help. Man. You see that entrance that Ron took to that
kept
corner?
it out wide.
That's a road racing entrance. That's the way road racers enter a corner. They make that late turn in to get the best. That gives them the best exit. The problem with
if nobody's underneath.
Yeah, the problem with the way we race, if you open that door, somebody gonna come through it.
Yeah, he's going to go from 13th to 19th after that spin.
Now, Jeremy would call that casual contact, and Ron Fellows would be saying, "Oh, what'd you do that for?"
Right. Ron's no rookie at racing with us, but
you were right
when you
there
get up
with
there
him,
in the front racing with everybody.
That's right. Even the run back to the flag.
I'm just driving a fuel mileage race right now. I'm just trying to stay on it.
Pretty much this will tell us who can make it and who can. If you know you can't make it, you have to come to pit road now. But if you were close, these cautions will buy you a little extra fuel you don't use near the fuel.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to make it now. I was worried about a lot of these guys, really, Larry, that they could not make it. They're going to have to come to the pit for splash and go. But these cautions, I believe I can make it.
So your calculator in that race car is working good today, it sounds like.
Not as good as yours.
Well,
but I'm just trying to help you.
Robbie Gordon has dominated the Old Spice lap leaderboard today. Ron Fellows out front for 21 laps, and Johnny Benson, Ward Burton, they may be among those who have to pit. We should see right now.
If you told me I'm running up here in the top 5 or 6 or even 10 and I had to come to pit road right now and say, I can make it. I'll save you some fuel.
Now that tire barrier, that's not a soft wall. That is, stay off the inside of the corner.
Gets hit. Somebody hits it every time we come here.
Do I stay or do I go?
Johnny Benson's the one we're going to watch the closest.
Yeah.
And he's going to stay out. So I guess they felt like they were close enough that these caution laps will help their fuel mileage.
And Frank Stoddard looks like they made a decision as well. Well,
Jimmy Johnson at the last second, the 48 car.
And, Todd Bodine and Dale Jr. and Matt Kenseth at the last instant.
Here comes the rest of them. Once one in front of you goes, you say, okay, I'll go too.
And if you're at the back of the pack, what do you have to lose? Now you're going to have 4 fresh tires.
Need 4 tires, fill me up with fuel, and hope for more cautions. And guess what?
Oh, 20 laps to go. We got plenty of time.
Plenty more. Right. This is what I was talking about. I'll be back here. I'll be up in the front in a minute.
But you know what, Darrell, and you'll relate to this as many championships if you went after. Now, remember, we still have 20 races to go. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth, right now, they're racing each other. One's on pit road. The other one needs to come with them.
The only problem for them, Larry, Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
They better not forget about that 24 car.
Dick?
Has chosen once again to take a set of fresh tires out of that automobile. He just wants to go fast as opposed to track position, Mike.
And he beat Dale Jr. out of the pits by 1 spot. Jeff Gordon is 3rd in the points and 3rd in the race. We talked Friday on our qualifying show that this would be an opportunity for Gordon to perhaps take a big chunk, maybe 100 points out of Matt Kenseth's point lead.
Not going to get 100, but he's going to get a pretty big chunk based on where everybody's running right now.
And right now, Matt Kenseth's crew beat Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew off pit road that time.
So with 20 laps to go, working caution, we'll take a break from Infineon Raceway, Sonoma, California. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Harley Davidson. The legend rolls on. And by McDonald's. 20 to go. They've just waved the green flag to restart. Robbie Gordon brings him down toward turn 11. Rusty almost booted him on the restart. Yeah, but Gordon really didn't quite get going, but then he got away.
This Gordon did, though. Rusty got off, almost got off over on 10, and Gordon got a run on him. And here comes Harvick, too. I don't know if he can make the pass, but it'll be close.
Joe Nemechek spun up at turn 7. A lot of battling down into 11 as the leaders cross the stripe. 18 to go. Robbie Gordon opens it up to a second. Here's what happened to Joe Nemechek.
Got in too hot. Turn 7. Of course, he was running in about the 3rd or 4th position on the racetrack, but a lap down.
Yeah, been trying to get a lap back. Just haven't been able to do it.
Robbie Gordon now has to try to hold off NASCAR's most successful road racer over the last decade.
And he is coming in a hurry. Flash better look back to the other Gordon there.
Tell you what, when I look at our top 6, we only have one driver there that has won a race this year, and that would be Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, won Martinsville. The other 5 have not been to victory lane this year.
I think Robbie Gordon's going to have a tough time holding off Mr. Gordon.
Ron Fellows trying to get back on track and climb back up through the field. Here comes Kenny Wallace.
Kenny done himself much more damage than he did to Ron Fellows, though, in the 1 car.
Yeah, well, he spun him out there a little while ago.
Robbie Gordon's chance for victory may be gone. He just screamed on the radio, "I think I have a flat tire. I think I have a flat tire." The guys jump up on the wall. The team is trying to take a look at the tires as he went by, and also from the spotter. Nothing else yet.
Matt, there's definitely something looked like it's happened to that race car. The handlers went away and the stopwatches went away too.
It's been built up.
Tell you what happened to that 31 car. That car behind him, what happened to him?
Now you heard the crew chief Kevin Hamlin ask him, is it build up? In other words, did you get out of the groove and pick up stuff on your tires that'll make you feel like you've got a flat tire?
Easy to do here. You ride around here a couple of laps on hot tires.
Turn 7.
And probably just need some focus. Don't believe he has a flat tire.
I'm going to tell you what, this has enabled Rusty Wallace in the 2 car and Kevin Harvick in the 29. They've closed right up to this group.
Robbie Gordon has not gotten slower, Darrell. He's within half a second of his fastest lap of the day. The competition is what's turned up the heat on him.
That's exactly what I think. I think all of a sudden he looks at his mirror and he says, I must be slowing down. They're catching up with me. You're not slowing down, bud. They're getting faster.
Hugging the tire barriers, taking the short way around. Rusty Wallace. Everybody knows how long it's been since he's been to victory lane, and knew that this would be one of his best chances of the season to pull off a win.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Rusty get up there behind Mr. Gordon, because if I remember right, last time Rusty had a pretty good chance of winning, Mr. Gordon kept him from it in Bristol.
Scott Pruitt has spun. 16 laps to go. Took the back off the target Dodge.
Now the thing that's going to get more and more difficult to pass and just to keep your car on the racetrack is the tires are going to be at their absolute worst when this race ends.
Steve Parton, the 30 car, Robbie Gordon's teammate, he just came down the front stretch here smoking and running really slow.
He doesn't have but about a half a car left anyway.
He made it off the racetrack.
Now, Jeff Gordon would pass Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the point standings, though Matt Kenseth has done a great job today, and his lead would go from 185 to 165. He would only give up 20 points of that lead.
Here these guys are, they're running together back there in 17th and 18th position, about 10 seconds behind our leader. Boy, Jeff Gordon, he almost took advantage. Robbie just about opened the door there through turn 11. 15 laps to go this time.
Boris Said runs in 7th. Among the road course regulars, Ron Fellows just picked up another spot, up to 14th. trying to work his way back up through.
Look at Bill.
Time's running out.
Yeah, Bill's right there. Elliott's in 5th place. He's being challenged hard right now by Ryan Newman, but pretty impressed with Bill's day.
With that broken foot. In fact, he had Brian Semo, another road racer that's been standing by here all weekend in case Bill couldn't go the distance.
There he
Good
comes
race
right
car
there.
make you go the distance.
15 laps to go. Who'll be California dreaming? NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. And by Prestone. When you want protection inside and out, you want the Prestone family. 13 laps to go. We're going to carry you right to the checkered flag as Jeff Gordon continues to hound Robbie Gordon for the lead.
He's looking, but he had to block him. Now Jeff will put a crossover move on. He tried to. He's going to go the outside here.
Outside.
He's going to try to cut back under him. No, didn't make it.
You just can't get good forward bite off the corner that high.
Tough to get out there that wide, and you pick up a lot of debris on your tires when you do.
12 laps to go.
I know what he was thinking, but he just wasn't able to pull it off.
12 laps, 24 miles to go. Jeff Gordon may have brushed the wall coming off the corner here.
Pick up that debris on your tires. I'd say if he probably just brushed it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Just kept him straight.
Perfect, I promise.
Casey Mears and Kyle Petty got together while we were away.
I think at the end of the day, when Kyle goes home, he goes say, between him and the Christian, they have done some spinning out today. Well, got a little help.
Definitely that motorcycle ride's going to do Kyle good, relieve his frustration from here.
And Jeff Burton ran out of turn 10.
Oh, this is ugly here now. He gets off, and man, this thing.
He was running in the 11th position right then.
But he drove it back to the pits. Watch for Michael Waltrip. Burton gets loose, and as he corrects, he runs out of pavement.
Yep. Michael had to run off a little bit.
Something just happened to Rusty Wallace. He just lost about 5 positions. We're hearing that he got off course. He was running up in 3rd.
Looking in line.
See, that's what Jeff Gordon's sitting here on Robbie Gordon right now. Robbie, see what happens to Rusty.
And Rusty Wallace goes from 3rd back to 7th.
Coming across the short chute here. Wheel hop here.
Under braking, downshifting.
Snatched that thing back into 2nd gear, got on the brakes, and got a wheel hopping.
Ten laps to go, next time by.
This is a great battle right here, guys. On a road course, these two Gordons. Robbie Gordon's been in this position a number of times on the road course. Can he close the deal? That's what I'm wondering.
And obviously wasn't that long ago he thought he had a tire going down, but I think it's safe to say now, just like Kevin Hamlin and his crew chief pointed out, probably just got some stuff on his tires.
Richard Childress, get on that radio and calm that young man down, because he's got the best race car. He's a great road racer. Just tell him to stay focused.
There's Richard Childress right there, the car owner.
Talk to him, Richard. Talk to him.
And Robbie's opened up a little bit of advantage that lap down through the S's. Jeff Gordon sends it in hard, trying to close it back up.
Every time I watch Robbie on the long run, he stays more consistent than everybody else. Gets better at the end of his run than some of the other guys do.
Yeah, you know, just... all right, I was just fixing to say that. Kevin Hamlin, his crew chief's telling him, you know, still stay focused. Gordon could be lagging back a little bit, just cooling his tires off a little bit, but I don't think he wants to cool them off for long.
No.
But you saw Robbie that last lap. He was hitting his marks, got his eye out of the mirror. The gap went from 1/4 of a second to 9/10 of a second.
When Jeff Gordon gets up on his back bumper, it's a distraction.
Sure.
And you know if you're looking back, you're losing time. Let's see if we can look in here and see how he's... Look at him. He looks pretty calm to me. Still got his visor up. Let's see what he does. If he looks back here and sees it. See him looking up at the mirror? He looks back. He's going up through the S's now. He says, I got him. I'm pulling away a little bit. Looks very relaxed, very comfortable. And he's so precise. I mean, his shifts are clean. They're quick. Car looks like it's handling really well. Look at him. He looks back to see where Jeff is.
Now here's where Jeff will try to eat him up under braking at turn 11.
I just think Robbie's car is staying better than Jeff's. I think Jeff's going off a little bit. Looks like he's getting a little tight and pushing. And Robbie's car looks pretty neutral right now.
Cars, Jeff Gordon's 24 starting to definitely slide around.
Yeah.
And the gap remains pretty constant within 10, about 0.8 of a second.
They're running about the same speed. 270s, right at it. 70 plus, 70 minus.
Kevin Harvick in third. He is 2.5 seconds off the lead. Right behind him, Bill Elliott, Ryan Newman, Boris Said, Rusty Wallace, then Mayfield, Bobby Labonte. Ron Fellows is up into the top 10. There's his Pennzoil Chevy. And here's Earnhardt Jr. trying to gain some ground on Matt Kenseth in this point chase.
And he definitely has, because they were racing each other a while ago. And now Dale Earnhardt Jr. is up to 11th. Matt Kenseth is stuck back in 16th.
Michael right there behind him. He's doing a good job today. He's 12th.
And here's Kenseth trying Johnny Benson.
Boy, Benson's been out there a long time, Larry. I mean, fuel and tires.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to go backwards.
Jeff Gordon has won 8 of the last 12 Winston, or 7 of the last 12 Winston Cup road races, trying for 8.
Starting to make a little bit of a run again on here on Robbie as they're going to come to the stripe with 8 to go. I believe Robbie Gordon's just getting off the corner much better than Jeff Gordon.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great.
And the defending champion of this race, Ricky Rudd, moving past Jimmy Johnson up to 17th.
Ricky had a problem early on with his shifter, and apparently they've got that repaired and had a decent day. Not a Ricky Rudd kind of road course day, but a decent day.
Rudd, a 2-time winner here in Sonoma. Leaders back down through the S's. Last time by it was half a second. But coming down through here, Darrell, where you carry a lot of steam, this is where Robbie Gordon is really good.
I believe Jeff Gordon's car is pushing. I think it's a little too tight. It costs him a lot of time in these tight turns up in the far end of the racetrack. Seems to get off of 11 pretty good, but seems to lose a lot of time once we get up into the 4, 5, and 7 and down through the S's.
Yeah, you can see it right there. He just couldn't turn it down on the exit of that corner.
Looks like it's sliding the nose a little bit more than Robbie is. And Robbie looks real, again, like I said, real precise.
7 laps to go. Jeff Hammond.
Been watching the monitor, guys, and Ron Fellows is definitely right now the fastest car on the racetrack. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are making their way back up through the pack. But more importantly, I think I'm curious to see what's going to happen when Ron gets back up to the 19 car, Jeremy Mayfield, who kind of put him back there where he is right now by getting into him early on. How much trouble is Jeremy going to give him when he gets to try to make the pass on him?
Yeah, I mean, the problem, you're right, Jeff. He definitely has a great race car, but with only 7 laps to go, he's got 8 seconds to make up. If he'll keep it on the asphalt, though, he'll have a good finish.
Ron Fellows could have won this race if he'd have pitted before that caution came out when he was still out in the lead. If he could have timed his pit stops a little bit better, I think he'd have won this race pretty handily.
He wouldn't have been back there racing the 19.
Right. Exactly.
And if he hadn't been turning around right now, he'd probably be about the 4th or 5th place.
That was the other bad thing that happened to him down here is coming to the caution. I think Jeff made a charge at Robbie, and he saw that he wasn't going to be able to do it. I think right now Jeff Gordon's going to try to hold on to second place.
Second place would be a great day as far as points. He'll be coming in line for 6 to go, but boy, crew chief Kevin Hamlin, he's had quite an eventful week. His birthday was on Tuesday, and he was married up in Napa Valley on Thursday to Patty Miles. So if he could top it off with a win, it's a pretty overwhelming week.
Yeah, it'd be really big for Robbie too, and Childress. I mean, I know they're in the top 10 in the points, the 29 and the 31, but they've struggled in the performance area today. Both cars have looked excellent.
Yeah, he actually got bumped out of the top 10 in points a week or so ago, but this should put him very close to coming back in, Robbie Gordon.
Hard to believe it's been nearly a season since a Richard Childress car has been to victory lane.
Of course, Robbie won one of the twin 125 races at Daytona, but that's not a points event back in January.
Oh, boy, Fittipaldi took the long way around there at turn 4. gathered it back up.
I don't know how many times you go through that corner in a day, but he's missed it about half of them.
Ron Fellows has gone past Jeremy Mayfield, and that'll move Fellows up into 8th place.
Ron has just done he's done a great job today in that car. He's given it a great ride. Circumstances just didn't work out for him, but he's certainly done his part.
And so as Boris said, of the non-Winston Cup regulars, they have both done a great job.
Well, those are two good teams, you know, that runs every week, and you put those kind of drivers in those kind of cars, teams like that, you're going to get good results.
You know, we always talk about what Matt Kenseth and that group does each week, but how about Bobby Labonte in the 18 car? Remember, he has been spun out twice, and he's sitting there behind Ron Fellows. There you see him in the 18 car, and he's in the top 10 in 9th position.
That's a good day for, again, making up some points.
Yep, going to be a point-chasing kind of day for Bobby Labonte and that Joe Gibbs team. His teammate, Tony Stewart, just got past Michael Waltrip for 12th down at turn 11.
Yeah, and Tony's had trouble.
Oh! Robbie Gordon finally got that big chunk of styrofoam.
Well, I hope did he hurt his car?
I don't think so, Darrell.
He's kind of kissed, about like Jeff Gordon just kissed that wall a while ago.
I can't believe it took 105 laps for somebody to ding that, but finally happened.
I tell you how hard he's trying right now. He's not leaving anything on the table. Got a little crease in that left front fender. Not much. Here he comes.
Sliding, straighten it out. Tickled it.
Ooh, baby. Don't do that anymore. Childress is probably all drawn up about now.
It's not more probably because Jeff Gordon's got his way right back to Robbie's rear bumper.
Just not sure what Gordon's up to. It's like he's maybe playing a little cat and mouse there, letting Robbie run out there, and he's going to maybe save a little something to come at him here with 2 or 3 to go.
Jeff Gordon better not play cat and mouse much too long.
Kyle Petty off course coming down through the S's.
Nobody can ever accuse us of not showing the Petty cars today. But he's back on course now.
Now here comes Christian. Well, they better not get together the kind of day they've had.
Flat tires behind you.
3.5 laps to go.
Oh, got the 16 car here at the line. He was running up there pretty good, too.
I think he's out of gas.
He's out of fuel. He's definitely out of fuel.
And I mean, it couldn't have happened in a more untimely place, just past the entrance of pit road.
Now he can get off the racetrack.
He's going to have to pull off, yeah.
Jeff Burton back on track with a wounded car.
And we're definitely getting a confirmation he's out of gas. He pitted on lap 66. So trying to go 44 laps was just too far.
That was a concern, Larry. You know, early on, I told you we were talking, is how many of these guys could actually make it all the way to the end.
He didn't pull off.
I probably wouldn't either. What are you going to do? If he pulls off and he's stuck right there, his day is done. He could get pushed back to the pits.
We're going to come around here for 3 to go.
I think what I'd do is get a hook and pull him in. He's out of harm's way, actually, where he is.
Yeah. And he's back it.
There he goes. He's back.
That's a good move.
Yeah, that's a good
I would say that was orders from NASCAR.
Now we are in the window. We are past the point at which NASCAR would red flag the race and restart it. So should a caution come out now, that would be the race.
And Biffle's actually backing down pit road right now. You know where he was sitting, fuel may have run back there that pickup and got enough just to crank it.
I'm going to stop here at one of his buddies' pits, maybe Mart or somebody, and see if they'll give him a little fuel.
I tried that once. They penalized me for pitting out of the box.
All right, Darrell, you're Jeff Gordon. You're NASCAR's winningest road racer of the last decade. You got 2.5 laps. What do you do?
All I can, I tell you that. I'm going to be up on that wheel. I'm going to just hope. I'm going to hope I can get close enough to Robbie Gordon to distract him. That to make him make a mistake. That's the only chance I got is to get Robbie Gordon to make a mistake. I'm going to look under him every chance I get to let him know I'm there, and then hope that he overreacts and makes a mistake. There's Childress on the bottom, and that's Robbie Loomis on the top.
And I agree with you, Darrell. If Robbie Gordon makes no mistakes, he wins this race. He's got 2 laps to go.
Got to sit on that hot stove right now, baby, and sweat ice water.
44 of 93 Winston Cup road races in history have been won from the front row. Robbie Gordon started outside pole today.
It looks like Jeff Gordon gets in the corners a little better than Robbie. Robbie's getting off the corners. That's normally the way it works at a road course.
Right, well, that's the way a tight race car is. You can drive it into the corner hard, it just won't turn. See Jeff run in there pretty hard. But the problem Jeff's got is when he tries to get back on the gas, I think the car just, the front end takes off with him.
Well, it's push and push and push, and finally the front wheels bite, and the rear wants to come around and gets loose.
The singular Chevy, the DuPont Chevy, and then the Goodwrench Chevy. Kevin Harvick, the front three. Bill Elliott's.
Protect the inside.
Here he comes. Gordon's going to try all he can right down here going into turn 11 to give him a look, just to let him know, hey, buddy, still here.
This might be his last best chance, Darrell, right here with one to go.
They got out wide here last time, trying to make like a crossover move. He's trying to work with that push he has. He's trying to take the car out wide and cut it down.
White flag for Robbie Gordon, trying for his second Winston Cup win.
More Robbie Gordon, if you're ever going to hit your marks, hit them this lap, buddy.
I think Robbie Gordon showing a lot of style right now, buddy.
Johnny Benson may be out of gas. For the first time in 6 years, Jeff Gordon has not led the most laps in this race. Robbie Gordon has.
A couple of critical areas here. This is one of them. This is the next one right here. Don't mess up right here. Get in here smooth.
Where Kevin Hamlin going to protect the inside.
Not going to get past down through here now. Only thing you can do down through here is let Gordon close up so he can make a run at you. Here he comes. He's not going to be able to pass him here, but he's going to be able to set him up in turn 10 is what he's trying to do.
For turn 11.
For turn 11.
Remember your green.
Here he's going to make a run at him right here now. Here he's going to come hard. Robbie's in there. He's going to block him. Can't make it. Nice try. Can't make it.
Robbie gets off the corner. He'll have his second Winston Cup win. One turn to go. Turn 12. Robbie Gordon, California kid, is going to win the Dodge St. Mart 350.
That's huge.
That is big.
Jeff Gordon half a second back. Kevin Harvick holds off Bill Elliott for third. Ryan Newman's fifth. Boris said the pole sitter is sixth. Ron Fellows comes back for seventh ahead of Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Tony Stewart.
And Matt Kenseth finishes 14th.
Behind Michael Waltrip.
Way to go, Robbie. That's a really great job. When you got Jeff Gordon breathing down your back, that's a great job.
Matt.
And Kevin Hamlin, you got married on Thursday, you win on Sunday. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't even know where to start thanking people. I guess we need to start with God for blessing us with such a good day. And just all of our sponsors. We got this Charlie Angel Special Edition Singular Wireless Monte Carlo here. And Robbie Gordon did a terrific job all weekend.
What a thriller.
Our engineering staff, Chris Andrews, they did a great job working and designing and building this car. Gave Robbie something special. And everybody at Richard Childress did a great job. It's all three of these teams work together to make these victories happen at RCR. The Motor Shop did a great job. Fab Shop did a great job. It's you just can't understand how important it is for all three of these teams to work together. And at times out on the track, they're racers. That's what you got to expect that. And they do a great job, and that's what Richard pays them for, to race one another. And all the guys in the shop do a great job pulling together and making sure it's one single team effort to get the things here to the track. And can't say enough about Richard and Judy.
Now, Robbie told me he helped design this car. What did he do?
Well, he told us where to bend the tubing or something. He's instrumental. He's a great road racer, and he had a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas, and had some guys weld this thing together that he's had in the past. Mess with some of his road racing stuff, and then Chris Andrews and the guys took it from there and did a great job with it.
Kevin Hamlin, congratulations, Mike.
For car owner Richard Childress, his third road course victory. 1983, Riverside, California, with Ricky Rudd. Right here with Dale Earnhardt in 95, and now with Robbie Gordon.
Hey, Larry, Childress told him not to wreck the car, but he didn't say anything about blowing it up.
He's been working on that pretty hard coming down.
He's going to accomplish that.
Paint scheme on that car, Charlie's Angels promoting their new movie.
Yeah, it was Robbie Gordon full throttle today.
Got a lot of room to do donuts here. Buy them a couple of dozen, buddy.
Yeah, those are the staging lanes for the drag strip here. Plenty of asphalt to use up.
But I'm happy for Kevin Hamlin. You can hear it in his voice. Remember, he was Dale Earnhardt's crew chief on the 3 car when Dale got killed at Daytona and came back with a couple of wins with Kevin Harvick. A lot of realignment up there with crew chiefs, and now Kevin's back in victory lane. That's good to see.
And for Richard Childress, whose cars have performed extremely well in the NASCAR Busch Series this year and have struggled somewhat in Winston Cup. It's a return to victory lane. First time in, what, 33 races?
First and third. First and third today. That's pretty impressive.
2003, 16 races, 13 different winners.
How about the runner-up, Steve Burns?
Thanks, Mike, with Jeff Gordon, who's just gotten out of the race car. Jeff, tell us about that great duel with Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, you know, on this racetrack, it's hard to really pass. So we were faster than him, and he was kind of blocking, you know, which he needed to do, and it was a good move. You know, my hat's off to him, the Richard Childress team. They did what they need to do. They had the track position. I think Robbie's got a little problem going faster under caution than he does under green, though. But besides that, he drove the wheels off the car, and I did everything I could to get by him, and that's all we had for him.
Good points day for you.
Great points, Stan. I had to keep that in mind. You know, Robbie's pretty hungry at these road course races, and there was a couple times where I could have made some moves on, but it was very iffy, and you know, as aggressive as Robbie is, you want to be careful when you're going for a championship.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Well, Jeff Gordon takes a big jump in the points. He leapfrogs Dale Earnhardt Jr. into second place. And Matt Kenseth's lead, which started the day at 185, he only had 11 points trimmed off his lead, but a new second-place driver. Chris Myers.
All right, thanks very much. The day started for Robbie Gordon, and a little bit ironic in his singular wireless car that he wins the week that Nextel announces its sponsorship as he continues to celebrate. But the day started, you know, he was heaving. We thought it wasn't because Darrell Waltrip picked him to win the race. He had food poisoning, so was the report. But he hung in there, drove a terrific race. And here's a guy who's had chances with other race teams, and finally with Richard Childress Racing, it seems like it's a good fit.
It really is a good fit right now, Chris. I mean, you take a look at the fact that Robbie's coming to Winston Cup on 2 other occasions, and some of the owners and the crew chiefs were having trouble communicating with him and working with him as far as the race cars are concerned. But now driving for Richard Childress, he gets his second win in the last couple of years, and I mean, he's really come of age, and he's really starting to put things together. They're up there in the top 10 in points. I think they've jumped back up to the top 10. Been consistent pretty much all year long, but a great run today by the singular wireless car.
And the top 3 finishers, all from California, with, of course, Robbie Gordon, Jeff Gordon, to Kevin Harvick from Bakersfield. Robbie's from Cerritos, California. And Vallejo, California is where Jeff Gordon from, and all Chevrolets, at least the top 3.
Well, I think that right there is a significant point, but at the same time, I don't believe that it's a make that got to victory lane. I think it's the fact these guys are very talented road racers. And when you think about Robbie Gordon or Jeff Gordon, even Kevin Harvick, who won the Featherlight Southwest Tour race yesterday, these guys have adapted themselves to road course racing and done an exceptional job at it.
And Robbie, a guy who, at least the story was that he used to have a pre-race ritual of eating a turkey sandwich for lunch before a race. I'm not sure if that figured into this. His first job, he worked on his dad's feed yard, used to rake over bales of hay, but very much an outdoorsman, loves mountain biking, boating, and adventure.
Oh, any kind of off-roading, as far as off-roading trucks or whether it's dirt bikes or whatever it is. He's a very active individual, and he loves racing any type or any form of race car. No matter where it's at, whether it's IndyCar, IRL, it just doesn't matter to him. He's really a very talented race car driver.
And an advantage being a regular on the Cup circuit as opposed to the hired guns who obviously didn't. They were in the top 10 in Boris and Ron Fellows, but didn't challenge at the end.
Well, I think you got to be in position, and that's what they were able to do, was put him back in position.
All right, let's get on. We're going to hear from Robbie Gordon. And Dick Berggren is standing by for the celebration of Victory Lane.
Well, 34-year-old Robbie Gordon from Cerritos, California, here in Victory Lane, amid all the drinks flying through the air, the confetti. Hey, you did it. You did it. Come on down, Robbie Gordon. Congratulations. Those last few laps, your tires had to be worn out. You had Jeff Gordon all over your back bumper. How hard was it to hang on to that race car?
Well, the car was pretty good, actually, at the end. I was pacing myself off of Jeff. I just didn't want him to be able to get close enough down there in 11 to turn me, because I remember what happened at Loudon, and I know he owes me one. So kind of paced our race off of him. Kevin Hamlin, Chris Andrews, everybody on the Singular Wireless team did an awesome job.
How big is this day for you? Big enough he wants to clean the camera lens. How big was it?
It was a big race for us. I mean, to win here, it means a lot. You know, we've let this race slip away probably 4 times in the past. We stuck to a plan, and it worked good all day.
So many things didn't go in your favor. Got up this morning not feeling particularly well, clipped the wall at one point, thought you had a tire going down at one point. Do you think it was going to go away?
That was just foam over there. That wasn't going to hurt anything. But, you know, just try to conserve and use as much of the racetrack as we can so we didn't use the tires up too hard.
Hey, congratulations, Robbie Gordon, a big win. The crew behind is so jubilant. Let's go to Steve Burns.
And thanks, Dick. And a gritty performance by Bill Elliott, who came home 4th despite having broken bones in your foot. How did you do that, Bill?
Well, it was pretty easy. I mean, we were 5 weeks out Saturday, and I felt like the bone was pretty good, and I felt good in the race car today. And, you know, we were pretty loose at the first of the race, and we kept adjusting on it. You know, we picked our strategy. We came in, and we was able to make it to the end. The track position was the key. Plus, we got to run pretty decent there then. I mean, the UAW Dodge ran good, and that's what we got to just keep doing. Sniffing away at it, you know.
And Boris said was going to stomp on your foot.
I'd have to hurt him then. I like Boris, but I wouldn't have liked him anymore.
All right, thanks, Bill. Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, there is Boris said. He's from Carlsbad, California, and it looks like Dick Berggren gave him his hair back. And we'll be back after 60 to 36 races. Ryan Newman sits there with Boris. Robbie Gordon, your winner in Sonoma.
Robbie Gordon and the Singular Wireless crew celebrate here in Sonoma. And the fans aren't leaving either. The SCCA Trans Am Series will attack this 2-mile road course in just a matter of minutes for their event. And it's time for us to hand the baton off to NBC. My opposite number there, Alan Bestwick. And kind of the neat thing about this is each time the series rolls over to the other network, the bar is raised and the audience is raised too.
And boy, we got some great things to look forward to. Daytona, prime time under the lights. We start with the Brickyard 400, the Southern 500, and banking at Homestead to wrap up the championship, plus the title race. We're looking forward to it. You guys have done a great job. Congratulations on a great half season. Now relax and leave the rest to us.
Thanks, Alan, and good luck to you and all the folks at NBC and TNT in the season's second half. Here's Steve Burns.
Thanks, Mike. With Ryan Newman, for a guy who doesn't have much road racing experience, you sure are good at this place, a top 5 finish.
Yeah, it's a good run for the Altel Dodge. I want to say hi to my parents back at home. That's the first race my dad hasn't made, and I miss him a lot. But good run for the car for sure. Had a little off-road experience there, lost a couple spots, but got into 20, didn't mean to do that. You know, typical road racing, when you don't have a whole lot of room to pass, you got to make some moves, and happy to come home top 5.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go to Chris.
All right, Ryan Newman, and you remember at Daytona the spectacular crash that he survived with sod in his lap. He is one of the 2 repeat winners so far through 16 races. But overall, last year's Rookie of the Year has been a hard luck guy this year. Just part of the excitement, thrills, and chills throughout this season as Robbie Gordon, your winner today. Let's go upstairs to Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Waltrip for some final thoughts over the 16 races we've covered. Gentlemen?
Well, it's going to be hard to give it up, Chris. Fantastic finishes, some really scary crashes, nobody badly hurt. Jerry Nadeau on the mend. That's really good news. I don't want to go.
No, you know, Larry and Mike, you know, normally when our season is over with, we're usually glad. I'm talking about our racing season. Right. You know, you've had a long, hard road. This is one season that it almost makes me cry to think that we're not going to be in Daytona in a couple of weeks, and we got to pass it off to the other guys. And Larry, Mike, I've loved every minute of what we've done, and folks, we'll miss you, and we'll see you come next February.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that the first half is over with. It's hard to believe that our 3rd year is over with. But yeah, I mean, 16 races, 13 different winners. All the makes have won. And you know what? Matt Kenseth, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they may have accomplished another notch what they need to accomplish for this 2003 championship. Both of them came home in the top 15, but don't take your eye off that 24 car. 3 top 3 finishes in the last 4 races. But yeah, we'll be back next year, guys, starting at Rockingham. Bigger and better than we've been the first 3 years.
And we're not going too far. We'll be on Speed Channel with Winston Cup and Busch Series qualifying, and every Friday night with Trackside. Hope you'll join us there. I just hope, folks, this has been as much fun for you as it has been for us. It's been quite a ride. Chris?
It has. It's been an enjoyable ride, and thanks, guys, for all your passion for this sport. Jeff Hammond, as we look at Robbie Gordon, Jeff Gordon moving up to second in the points, and we started the pre-race show here from the hills in Sonoma with our guys talking about Matt Kenseth and last year's points champion Tony Stewart with a 174-point lead. Yeah, Kenseth obviously the guy to beat, but there's a lot of racing left. Yeah. Would you still pick him at this point if somebody said, hey, call the guy who's going to win it?
At this point, these guys are doing what they need to win the championship. But when you look at the last couple of years and you take their records and compare, like the top 5 in points, you got to give it to Jeff Gordon. He's always finished strong. And if Matt Kenseth wants to win his first Winston Cup championship, he's got to improve in his second half performance. Now, I think they're well on their way. They picked their performance up today here on the road courses. But there's a lot more places they can go to where Jeff Gordon can reel them in. So they've got to get on their game, their best game, all week long, all year, the rest of this year, if they want to win this thing.
All right, and you said, as we got to look at Richard Childress, a first win for his racing team in 33 straight races. Kevin Harvick, who won for him the last time, ran a very good race today, still looking for his first win of the year.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, they're going to win a race as far as Kevin Harvick's concerned. It's good to see Robbie Gordon do like he did today. I think an interesting point they need to bring back out is the fact that Richard Childress got on the radio earlier today and said, guys, you got 2 good race cars here. Let's make sure somebody wins this race. And for Robbie Gordon, he was able to bring that home.
And Robbie Gordon, 13th in points currently with the Charlie's Angels paint scheme, full throttle. Certainly part of that, and he drove it full throttle today. NASCAR on Fox this season began with rain in Daytona. Now it ends with sun in Sonoma. There were fiery crashes and spectacular finishes. There were heated tempers, cool emotions, and patriotic fervor. The drivers, the fans, the sport is experiencing the loosening of racing's historic roots while still contributing to NASCAR's sprawling growth. We leave you with the names of our hardworking crew who make it happen each and every week. Until next year, when we once again crank it up, I'm Chris Myers from the Hollywood Hotel. Jeff and I are going to head to the Paradise Hotel. From Sonoma, California, thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox.
Now the seats are all empty. Let the roadies take the stage. Pack it up and tear it down. They're the first to come and the last to leave. They'll set it up in another town. Detroit, I don't know. We do so many shows in a row. These towns all look the same. People stay just a little bit longer. We won't play just a little bit longer. Oh, won't you stay just a little bit
Artie Kepner, TV director. Neil Goldberg, our producer. I want to thank Bobby Labonte for participating in our Fox Take a Driver to Work program.
On a mountaintop, staring out at the Great Divide. I could go east, I could go west. It was all up to me to decide. 'Cause then I saw a young heart flying and my soul began to rise. And pretty soon,
Raven, what a finish!
Have you ever?
No, I've